And a very pleasant late Friday afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to HCS Media Network's live coverage of high school sports and the final broadcast of Premier Week 2014-2015. As we come to you live from Chester Fritz Stadium on the campus of Hermitage High School on an absolutely picture-perfect Friday afternoon for late August. Temperatures in the mid-80s. Humidity lower, though, than it was yesterday for the game out at Cosby. And the wind's whipping up a little bit, too, so a nice breeze blowing. So it's going to be a much more comfortable experience for the fans gathering and for the players on the field. And for yours truly up here in the press box, although we came with two bottles of water, as always, ready to rock and roll, as the Meadowbrook Monarchs have come across the river to start their 2014 season against the number 3 ranked Hermitage Panthers. They're number 3 in the preseason NBC 12 WHAN Radio Top 10. So glad you're with us. Rob with them along with you. I want to thank everybody. Man, I tell you, we had a great audience last night for our game, which was Cosby-Thomasdale was not the prettiest game we've ever witnessed and we've ever broadcasted, but boy, did it get exciting in the final 15 to 18 minutes with Cosby erasing a 10-point deficit to take a 3-point lead and then holding on after a late safety. They had a big defensive stand with under a minute to go to wrap up the home win, and the Cosby Titans knocked off the number 10 ranked Thomasdale Knights 16-15 in our first football broadcast of 2014. I shouldn't say day-night, it's Thursday-Friday. Our Thursday-Friday kickoff doubleheader now brings us here to the west end of Henrico County as we get set to watch a perennial playoff power who they're not happy when they make the playoffs. They expect to make the playoffs. When they become happy is when they hit the state level of competition. And for the Hermitage Panthers last year, that did not quite happen because they ran into the eventual state champions, LC Bird, in the second round of the new 5A South playoffs. And they ended up losing in round 2, although they played LC Bird very well, had the lead late into the third quarter before the Skyhawks took the lead just before the quarter ended, and then in the fourth quarter kind of put things away at that point for the victory, and that eliminated the Panthers from playoff contention. Panthers know what it's like to be in the state level. They made the state semifinals with Brendan Riddick at quarterback back in 2007, and you'll recall their run all the way to the state championship game just 4 seasons ago, back in 2010. Where they lost to Battlefield in the Group 5 state championship back in December of 4 years ago. So Coach Patrick Kane is still searching for that elusive state championship for the Hermitage Panthers. And you know what? That's something that Vic Williams struggled with at Thomasdale. He had great success, but people were wondering if they would ever finally climb the mountain and win a state championship, especially after some people around them in the early 2000s, being Hopewell and Meadowbrook, were able to win state titles. And finally, the late Coach Williams was able to grab that brass ring in 2009, and what an emotional time it was there in Chester and Thomasdale when that happened, and then all the subsequent unfortunate events with his health afterwards. But, you know, Thomasdale was able to do it. People were questioning about David Bedwell and LC Bird. Man, they make the playoffs every year. They go unbeaten, and then somehow they find a way to stub their toe. When will they ever finally climb that mountain? And 2 years ago they did, and then they came back and they did something that's not easy to do. They climbed it again, and they ascended to the top, and they've won 29 games in a row dating back to November the 25th of 2011. And the last team to beat LC Bird was the 2011 Hermitage Panthers. Those Panthers made it to the state semifinals as well, losing to Centerville. And if you'll recall, that game was here at Chester Fritz Stadium December 3 years ago. We were up in Northern Virginia with the Hanover Hawks in their Group 5 state semifinal on that afternoon, and my son was here at Hermitage. For those of you who do not know, my son is a 2010 graduate of Hermitage High School. So he was here rooting on people that he had been in class with and had known for years. And you'll recall Ken Eckenham, who is now a member of the defense at Virginia Tech, was a key part of that Centerville team. And Hermitage had scored a touchdown and had a chance to tie the game, but the extra point was missed, and that ended up being the margin of defeat. 10-9 was the final score, and that was 3 years ago, and the Panthers have not tasted state playoff play since then. And, of course, those were back in the days when Central Region teams had to win 4 games to make the championship and win. And now you got to play 5 and win all 5 of them to win the state title in the new reclassification. So for the Hermitage Panthers, again, ranked number 3 in our new NBC 12 WHAN Radio Top 10 poll. brought to you here on this broadcast by HCS Media Network. They have a lot to prove this year. They've got some great people coming back, including their quarterback, Rashad Robinson. Looking forward to watching him. Really, really looking forward to seeing how they progress. The type of offense that they're interested in running. They're very deep in both running back and wide receiver. They've got plenty of athletes, which is nothing unusual for Hermitage. So really looking forward to watching them in action. And as last night, we were watching Darvin Taylor, the outstanding lineman for Thomas Dale, in action, who, of course, earlier yesterday announced that he would be going to college at Florida State University. Here at Hermitage, they have an up-and-comer along the lines of a Darvin Taylor in the name of Suleiman Kamara, and he is a beast. 6'2", 285. He is just a junior. He's getting looks from all over the place at the next level, and he is going to be a handful. The Monarchs are going to win the war on the line of scrimmage tonight. They're going to have to put up with Kamara, and he's not the only one on the line as well. They've got beef. There's no doubt about that. He will be at defensive tackle, and alongside him, and if you can believe this, Kamara is kind of the shining star, the one that colleges are looking at, and right beside him is a guy that almost dwarfs him, and Deshaun Woodson is 6'3" and 330 pounds. So between Woodson and Kamara, you are talking about 615 pounds of defensive tackle that you're going to have to deal with. And that's going to be one of the issues for the Meadowbrook Monarchs here tonight. Now, Meadowbrook had a fine season last year. They were a very young team last year, with the exception of key seniors at key positions. They're going to be breaking in a new quarterback. They lost their very talented wide receiver, Terrell Whitaker, to graduation. But they do have back their number one tailback from last year, and that's Justin Miller. Justin ran for over 1,000 yards. They're going to count on him heavily, I am sure, early on as they groom and mold other players into skill positions offensively, especially under center. But again, as most high school football games go, you can have all the skill players that you want, and sometimes a skill player can shine and just make special plays and take a game over, and we've certainly seen that on multiple occasions. But 8 times out of 10, when you come watch a high school football game, the game is won on the line of scrimmage. And Meadowbrook's going to have to deal with the combination of Woodson and Kamara this evening. Certainly on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be a struggle for them because they're going to have to try to push them out of the way to get things going for Miller. But by the same token, Meadowbrook has got to be able to get some pressure on Rashad Robinson, and it's going to be up to brand new center Trayvon Carter, along with offensive guards Kamoni Henderson and Corey Harris, and the tackles Jordan Rochester and Louis Orville, to take care of business there. And they certainly, maybe not compared to Deshaun Woodson, but they've got plenty of size, and they've got talent, and they've got agility. So, Meadowbrook not far off from being in our preseason top 10. If you downloaded our podcast and listened to it on hcsmedianetwork.podbean.com with our conversation with Mark Davis of NBC12 as we ran down the preseason top 10 and talked about the 10 teams that made the list. One of the best teams not to were the Monarchs of Meadowbrook. They were very close to making the top 10. Cosby was close to making the top 10. And frankly, James River is not too far away. And after what they did last night to Deep Run, they may get some top 10 consideration depending upon how things fall the rest of the action that's going on this evening. And there are 4 games total, 3 other games besides ours going on in the Central Region on this Friday before Labor Day. But if Meadowbrook can come in here tonight and pull off an upset at Chester Fritz Stadium, they will vault, I'm sure, high into the top 10. That will raise their awareness, and there will be a ton of people who suddenly look at the Monarchs in a totally different light, because people don't look at them as rebuilding. I think that's too strong of a term, but they're young, so I don't necessarily think that you can automatically say they are reloading. They also made the playoffs last year, but only as a number 7 seed, and then when they went to Atlee in the first round in a game that we broadcast here live on the network and on WHAN Radio, they struggled most of that night against the Raiders. The only reason why that game wasn't as more of a decisive Atlee win as it was frankly the fact that Atlee didn't play their best ball that night either, and didn't put the game away until late, where if they were on all cylinders that night, could have put that game away in the first half. But for whatever reason, they did not. They sputtered that night, and they allowed Meadowbrook to stay in the game. Atlee did not play their best game against Douglas Freeman the next week, quite frankly, but they were better than the game against Meadowbrook, and that was enough to defeat Freeman. What happened in that game was more along the lines of the defense shutting down Kyle Farkas in the second half in the running game, if you'll recall. So for Atlee, they were able to move on to the next round where they were eliminated in the round after Hermitage lost to LC Byrd. Then Byrd proceeded to defeat Atlee and then head to the state semifinals. So for Meadowbrook, it's going to be a question of who's going to step up in new key positions, who's going to help out Miller, can they get the holes blocked so that Miller can get going offensively in the running game, and quite frankly, time of possession with the running game. That's going to be key as well. If they can hold on to the football and keep it away from the more high-powered offense of Hermitage, the more experienced offense with the returning senior quarterback Rashad Robinson, keep the ball out of his hands, he can't score. And we'll see if they're able to do that. But if there's a lot of 3-and-outs on the count of the Monarchs tonight, then that could spell trouble for Meadowbrook. So it's Meadowbrook and Hermitage here, coming up live at HCS Media Network in just over 15 minutes from now from Chester Fritz Stadium. So glad you are joining us live on our YouTube channel tonight. We have already sent out links where you can listen live to the broadcast tonight on ChesterfieldCountySports.net, HenricoCountySports.net, and our also sister's website, HanoverCountySports.net. Just go to the top of the page, click the Listen Live button. I believe it's at the top of two pages, and it may be on the side on one. But if you look at the top, just under our masthead, you'll see a Listen Live button. Just click that. It'll take you straight to our broadcast, which is streaming tonight live on our HCS Media Network YouTube channel. And, of course, we always send out links to our broadcast. We did so just before we went on the air, and we're going to send out some other links on Twitter here in about 10 minutes, about 5 minutes before kickoff. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter at all three of our feeds, helping you out to follow your favorite team and everything going on in RVA. No matter where you are, we've got you covered. At Hanover Sports, at Henrico Sports, and at Seafield Sports. That's the letter C, Field Sports, for Chesterfield County. Flock of geese have now come over and landed over at Hermitage Baseball's center field area, and they'll have to take care of that in the off-season. We were just over there last month working and doing some American Legion baseball action with West End Post 361, who had a heck of a run into the state tournament after they upset Mechanicsville Post 175 in the district championship last month. And then right beside that is the softball field. And just mentioned that because we were looking over just behind the press box at Cosby last night at the softball field, and both of them, both Cosby's and Hermitage's fields, it's the off-season because there's a little bit of grass growing in the infield, and, of course, that's normally a no-no, and they'll take care of that, of course, before spring comes anew in March and we have a new softball season. For Hermitage, they lost a key player in Elizabeth Olson, who is now at Richard Bland College, and I believe she's going to be playing there. And, of course, Cosby lost several seniors to a team that went all the way to the state final that we broadcast back in June here on the network. Most notably Chelsea Whitcomb, who is going to take her pitching talents down to Virginia Tech and join Lee Davis graduate Kelly Hines. And so Tech softball next year, they're going to have the pitcher who won the 2011 state championship in Hines and the pitcher who won the 2012 state championship and made it back to the 2014 title game in Chelsea Whitcomb. But I get ahead of myself just kind of looking out into the distance. That's the ADD OCD of part of me that I looked out, I saw the geese fly, I saw them land, and I start thinking spring sports because I'm looking at the baseball and softball fields. Meadowbrook Hermitage here in about 15 minutes. And we want to thank Chris Rollison and Coach Patrick Kane and everyone here at Hermitage High School for their hospitality, allowing us to come in tonight to broadcast this game for you, which, as we talked about last night, we're really happy we're able to do it because being the final week before school gets back going, there's so many people that take vacation the week before school starts. The last week of August is a huge week for people to take the week off, go to the beach, enjoy the extended 3-day weekend, finish up with Labor Day, and then you come back and you get back into the grind if you go to work on Tuesday, and you start a brand new year in school if you're, of course, a student. So I know a lot of you will be listening tonight because you are outside of the Richmond area because you want to be here at Chester Fritz Stadium to root on either the Monarchs or the Panthers, but you're not able to because you are wrapping up your vacation, or maybe you're taking a long weekend and you've just arrived at your destination for the next 3 or 4 days. No matter what the case may be, we're glad we could bring this to you Unfortunately, you were not able to be here with us, but we are happy to be here with you and bring the action to you here live tonight on HCS Media Network, as this is the second of 13 scheduled regular season football broadcasts that we have here on HCS. And, of course, we will join forces again this year with WHAN Radio beginning a week from tonight. And that will be for our 13th season of high school football on WHAN, 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. It is our fourth season of our Game of the Week format, where we cover all four Hanover County high schools, as well as other schools that they face here in the Richmond area. And this year, we're going to see some exciting action. We talked about the schedule at halftime of our game last night between Cosby and Thomas Dale. And we will do it again tonight at halftime. But if you don't want to wait till then and you want to see our 2014 broadcast schedule, it is available on all three of our websites right now on the right side of the page at HanoverCountySports.net, HenricoCountySports.net, and ChesterfieldCountySports.net. And 1 week from tonight, we will be sitting in the press box at Hanover High School, getting set to watch Clayton Cheatham and the Hanover Hawks take on brand new head coach Brian Davis up from North Carolina in to try to begin a new era at Patrick Henry, a team that has struggled mightily in the last 5 years. The last time we broadcast a game here at Hermitage High School was Hermitage Patrick Henry back in 2010, the year that Hermitage made it all the way to the state championship game. And that was the first year that Patrick Henry did not have Ray Long as head coach. He resigned after the 2009 season that saw him finish at 3-7. Which was his first losing season since 1992. I say all that to preface that one of our games on the Game of the Week this year on October the 10th is going to be the night at Patrick Henry where they honor the 1994 state championship team, and it'll be the 20th anniversary of that team. And we're going to be there for that matchup when PH takes on J.R. Tucker. Again, that game will be October 10th. That will be the one game of the year that we will not broadcast live on WHAN Radio due to commitments with Randolph-Macon College. We also, of course, have Randolph-Macon on the radio Saturdays all year long, but once a year they do play a Friday night game. This year it is a home game under the lights at Dave Field on October the 10th against Catholic University. And so Randolph-Macon will slide into the Friday night slot on Friday, October the 10th. And we'll have the Tucker-Patrick Henry game on delay Saturday the 11th on WHAN. But we'll have it live on HCS Media Network that night. So if you want to listen to the J.R. Tucker-Patrick Henry game and the 20th anniversary reunion of the 94 state championship team, we will have it for you live here online on the 10th of October. So again, our 2014 schedule is available on all three of our websites right now: ChesterfieldCountySports.net, HenricoCountySports.net, and HanoverCountySports.net. Mentioned the podcast a few moments ago, brand new. It's called Central Region Now. We will be updating it at least once every week. We'll have highlights and news and information and interviews with coaches and players and alumni and athletic directors and whoever you might want to hear us talk to. If you want to send us a tweet and say, hey, get so-and-so on your podcast, we'll do our best to do so for you. If you know of some people that are interesting and you want to hear more from, we'll do our best to handle that request for you. And again, our podcast link, our initial podcast, which was our top 10 preview with Mark Davis of NBC 12, is available now at hcsmedianetwork.podbean.com. That's Podbean. hcsmedianetwork.podbean.com. And we need to put a link of that on our three websites. That's one thing I've neglected to do in this very busy week, and I'll make sure we do that sometime here over the holiday weekend. Now, here on the network, we're going to take a break early next week. We had a busy week this week with field hockey Monday, volleyball Tuesday, football last night, and football tonight. We like to have a big kickoff on the first week of fall season and winter season and spring season, and then we kind of, put back on the accelerator a little bit when we get to the second week. So gives a chance for us for our batteries to recharge. And so our next broadcast will be next Friday night, our football premiere on WHAN. So if you're in the Richmond area, you can listen to Patrick Henry Hanover on 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. And if you're not in the Richmond area, you can listen to us online here live on HCS Media Network, as HCS Media will simulcast all WHAN radio games of the week throughout the 2014 football season. And in case you missed it last night, we will have just a couple of minutes here before we get ready for the national anthem and get set for action as the Meadowbrook Monarch Marching Band is making their first appearance of 2014. Here is the visitors here at Chester Fritz Stadium at Hermitage High School. Let me quickly run down that top 10 and how members of the top 10 did last night. Number 1, LC Bird is idle. They premiere next Friday night at Thomas Dale, and we mentioned at the end of the broadcast last night, Thomas Dale losing to Cosby 16-15 here on HCS, that they're going to have a much better performance next week if they hope to have any chance of pulling off the upset and ending that 29-game winning streak of the Skyhawks. So Bird, who will be debuting Jalen Elliott, the Hanover transfer at quarterback, next Friday night. Number 2, Atlee, also idle. None of the Hanover County schools have yet to start their seasons before Labor Day. They still opt to have the 10-week schedule without a bye, and Atlee will begin their campaign next week at Deep Run. That one's beginning to look more and more lopsided after we saw Deep Run take it big time on the chin to James River last night, 48-10, the final score. A big and very interesting opening night statement from the Rapids of James River, who finished 6-4 last year, have one of the best running backs in the area in Quintrell Chung, and not a lot of people are talking about him. Brand new offensive coordinator Francel Smith coming over once the head coach at Glen Allen, and now has taken over the Rapids offense, and they put up almost 50 in their opener last evening. So Atlee Deep Run next week. Number 3, we've got them here in front of us, the Hermitage Panthers, kicking off in less than 10 minutes here against Meadowbrook. Number 4 team in our top 10 is Highland Springs, and they open their season tonight. About an hour from now, they'll kick it off at 7 o'clock against Colonial Forge at home, and we will have 3 Highland Springs football games live here on the network and on WHAN Radio during this regular season. September 26th, October 17th, and a big Week 9 Halloween night showdown against Atlee. Number 5 team in our NBC 12 WHAN Radio Top 10 poll is Varina, and they spotted Mountain View 7 points last night in Stafford County before rolling off 33 unanswered to win that game, 33-7. Dinwiddie's number 6 in our poll, and they begin their season tonight at home, defending 4A state champions against Monacan. Number 7 team in our poll, Manchester, with a big win last night over Montowica, 43-7. Number 8 team is Douglas Freeman, and they had another big opening night win last night. Took care of Midlothian 38-0. They scored 31 of those points in the first 17 minutes and 20 seconds of the game. Number 9 team is Goochland. They're kicking off their season against Essex. And then the number 10 team in our poll was Thomas Dale. And again, they fell last night after having a 13-3 lead. They let Cosby come back and take a 16-15 victory. Our new top 10 poll will be debuting just after Labor Day. You can watch it on NBC 12, see it at NBC12.com, and of course we'll have it for you on all of our websites here as well. Meadowbrook Monarchs Marching Band have finished their pregame festivities, all except for our Star Spangled Banner, and we're getting set for our national anthem coming up here in just a second. And we're going to send out the Listen Live link real quick. And it's time now for the playing of our national anthem. So we take a moment and pause before we get started here tonight. It is a lighter than normal Friday night crowd for football, and of course it's a holiday weekend. That's one reason. Another reason, I think a lot of the teams in the Richmond area, fans are still getting used to the fact that teams are beginning the season prior to Labor Day. This is something that only began last year. Almost no one here in the area took advantage of this bye situation and played before Labor Day prior to the 2013 season. Last year it began with, I'd say, about 9 or 10 games on the schedule, and it's up by a couple this year. And I think we may see more and more teams do it if it is an option to them as time goes on, simply because it gives them the option of having a bye. The only problem with that is, from an economic standpoint, is that whoever is the home team for that particular game in late August is going to see their till go down in terms of ticket sales and concession sales, etc. And as we all know, the football games on Friday night are a big contributor to the athletic department budgets over and above what they are given, of course, by the regular county budgets. So you count on those 5 or sometimes 6 home games to give you a big boost, and so that's something that they kind of going to have to kind of juxtapose as time goes on. But a hearty crowd, the ones who have been able to come out tonight, and for those of you who are out of town or still on vacation or still wrapping things up prior to getting school back underway on Tuesday, couldn't make it out, glad you're with us here tonight live on HCS Media Network. And we are right now sending out one more quick tweet reminder, and we just sent it. Follow us on Twitter at Hanover Sports, at Henrico Sports, and at Seafield Sports, the letter C, Field Sports for Chesterfield County. And we just sent out the Listen Live link as we are live here on YouTube tonight, getting set for Monarchs and Panthers. Monarchs are on the left-hand side of the field behind the end zone in the corner, huddled up and ready. They're waiting for the Hermitage Panthers to come out first. They are coming out through a banner with their cheerleaders in tow, with I see Will from TV 99 here, SportsWire in Henrico County, out there getting ready to get the action. And I'm sure he has been busy this week getting back into the swing of things with field hockey underway, volleyball underway, and, of course, football getting started in earnest last night, with most of the teams in both Henrico and Chesterfield counties opting to start their regular seasons prior to Labor Day here for the second year in a row. We mentioned 3 other games in the area tonight, 2 involving, and here come the Panthers coming through that banner. Holding the flag is one of the gentlemen we talked about on the earlier here on the pregame show. That's been number 72, Deshaun Woodson, who's going to team up with Kamara there in the middle of the defensive line for the Panthers as the captains are getting ready to meet at the 50-yard line. Coin toss coming. The Monarchs are getting ready now to come through their line, which includes cheerleaders in the band, and Meadowbrook will head over to the far side of the field. And the other games tonight, number 6 Dinwiddie, defending 4A state champions, will be at home against Monacan. They start at 7. We mentioned number 4 Highland Springs at home. Their opener against Colonial Forge also at 7. And the Glen Ellen Jaguars begin their 4th season of varsity football with their first game ever under new head coach Keelan Mayo. And they will go up to Caroline to take on the Cavaliers. That also a 7 o'clock kickoff. So we won't have any scores to report for a while. We'll probably be closing in on halftime by the time we begin to hear scores from those other games. Monarchs are getting wound up, the drum corps getting them ready, and they'll be coming out in a second. But right now we put our attention at the 50-yard line to find out who wins the coin toss and who's going to get the football to get set for this game. The Meadowbrook Monarchs win the toss, and they have elected to receive. And so the Monarchs offense will get it first. And Hermitage is going to be kicking. And we're about ready to get underway with night 2 of our 2-night football doubleheader premiere of the second full season of online sports coverage here on HCS Media Network. We had nearly 40 broadcasts of 7 different high school sports last year, between soccer, lacrosse, baseball, softball, basketball, football, field hockey, and volleyball. You know, if I count those up, I think that was 8 total, and we have close to double that scheduled here in 2014-15. So the Hermitage Panthers will kick it off. And Meadowbrook will receive, and we'll get our first look at the new quarterback for Meadowbrook. And in some ways, with the exception of the returning Justin Miller, a new offense, excuse me, for Coach Taylor and the Monarchs. Jesus Rodriguez is a left-footed kicker. He's a senior. He handles all the kicking duties as well as punting. Oh, check that. He's a righty. I said that because he was heading back left, getting set to position and get ready. But he walks to his left and then turns and curls to his right. And Rodriguez is ready. He's got it teed up at the 40. 2 men are back deep for the Monarchs. And we're ready for the 2014 opener between the Panthers and Meadowbrook. Here we go. It is a squib kick picked up at the 13-yard line. 20 up the middle, 30, 35, trips over his own man and down at the 38-yard line, but a nice return by Keontae Smith. And, man, if he hadn't tripped over the leg of his own man there on the special teams, he could have gone much further than that, maybe even into Hermitage territory. And so a break early for the Panthers as here comes their defense onto the field. And they will face the offense of Meadowbrook, 1st and 10 Monarchs at the 37-yard line with D'Angelo Amos, 6-foot senior, lined up at quarterback under center. Miller in the I formation. First down, handoff Miller, fights his way to the 40, 45, 50, breaks another tackle. Flag comes in late in the secondary. But Miller goes all the way down to the 40-yard line of Hermitage. A nice run with power by Miller on the first carry of the evening. But we do have a penalty marker, and boy, did we have plenty of those last night. We had over 30 accepted penalties in the Cosby-Thomasdale game, one of the reasons that game lasted 3 hours. And the penalty is going to go against the Panthers. It is a face mask penalty. And they're going to tack that on to the end of the run. So a 23-yard run by Miller and then a 15-yard penalty. And Meadowbrook is in business at the Hermitage 25-yard line. Just 21 seconds into the game. And now they're going to get Kamara jumping offside. And Hermitage making some uncharacteristic early mistakes. A la what we saw done last night in that first drive. Thomasdale committed, if memory serves me correctly, 5 penalties in that opening drive that ended in a Cosby field goal when their drive stalled inside the 5-yard line. First down, Miller will take it up the middle. And he'll get a nice push from his offensive line, and he'll get inside the 20, inside the 15, and down to about the 13-yard line. And that'll be enough for a first down. 7 more yards for Miller. And let me tell you, the Monarch offensive line making an early statement. The ball is at the 13-yard line. First down and 10. Handoff Miller up the middle, and no one's going to touch him. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Meadowbrook Monarchs. I mean to tell you, friends, that was easy. 3 plays, 2 penalties, 62 seconds, and Meadowbrook takes the lead. 13-yard touchdown run by Justin Miller, who had over 1,000 yards last season. And here comes the extra point attempt. Luis Escobar to do the honors. Brian Young in to hold, and we have a penalty marker coming through even before we come close to having the play, and I think it's going to be an illegal substitution. And it'll be against the Panthers. So they'll move it up all of a yard and a quarter. And Escobar will attempt the point after. It's down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. 10:58 left first quarter. Monarchs strike first. 7-0 over Hermitage. Here live on HCS Media Network, the RVA home for live high school sports. Well. For those who did not expect Meadowbrook to perform well on the road against a team the caliber of the Panthers, they have made a quick statement, not just with Justin Miller's running. Miller doesn't run like that if the beef up front are not doing their jobs. And I want to credit specifically senior lineman Donovan Easter, number 66, who on that second run that got them the first down inside the 20 and down to the 13, he was just pushing his blocker down the field, continuing the pile, continuing the scrum so that Miller could continue the run. And then on that last play, the 13-yard touchdown run, the right side of the line they just blew Hermitage off the ball. And Miller was never touched until he had already broken the plane. Jonathan Argueta is going to kick it off at the 40-yard line. He'll put it up on the tee. Two Panthers are back deep. I believe Ty Bates, number 13, is one of them. And now Hermitage will get their first opportunity. Down 7-0. That's not what they expected. Very high short kick. Upman will take it at the 31-yard line, across the 35 to the 37-yard line. That's Kalen Sneed, wide receiver. And ironically enough, as Meadowbrook started their drive at the 37, Hermitage will start their drive at the 37 as well. So 7-0 in 62 seconds of the first quarter, and the Panthers in to respond. Four wide receivers, tailback behind the quarterback in the pistol, Rashad Robinson, the senior. First play will be a pitch. Jonte Wilson looking for running room. He'll get cut at the 35 and get back to the line of scrimmage. He could not find room around the corner, and they might say he went out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. I think they're going to put it back at the 36-yard line, maybe the 35.5, and so he's going to have a loss of a yard on that play. They tried to string out the Meadowbrook defense, and they'd have none of it. Second down and 11, and Hermitage in a very quick offense. Fake it. Now a pass from the lefty is going to be overthrown, incomplete, and intended for Ty Bates. And Robinson misfires on his first passing attempt of 2014. Bates wide open. Nobody was on him at that moment, and he had a blocker in front of him. Could have developed into a decent play, but instead the overthrow makes it third down and 11 at the 35.5-yard line. Looking out the flat, nothing there. Robinson's going to tuck it and run. 40, cuts up this left side, midfield, and he'll get the first down. And that is where Robinson can hurt you. Athleticism personified. And we have a penalty marker coming in right at the very end of the play as Robinson danced out of bounds at his own sideline just inside Meadowbrook territory. So we'll hang on a moment and see if it's a late holding penalty. And if that's the case, it won't be a first down. No, it is a dead ball personal foul penalty at the end of the play against Meadowbrook. And so Meadowbrook, with their first penalty, is a big personal foul penalty, and that should be 15 yards from the end of the run. And from the 47, it's going to put the football at the 32-yard line. So 18 on the run, 15 on the penalty, and the Panthers say thank you very much. And they have a first down at the Meadowbrook 32. We've only played a minute and a half in this game. Handoff, right side, marker coming in. Wilson keeping his feet going, finally tripped up near first down yardage at the 22, but this one's coming back. And the Hankies are flying fast and furious already here tonight, as they were over at Cosby last night, holding against the Panthers. And the Hermitage Panthers have committed 4 penalties in a minute and 36 seconds. 2 in the Meadowbrook drive for the touchdown, 1 before the point after, and now this holding penalty, which will drive them back to the spot of the foul, the 40-yard line. and we'll replay first down. It'll be first down and 18. They got to get to the 22, and they now stay at the 40-yard line. Wilson will go into the slot. Man in motion, Bates. Handoff to him, but he gets swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Fantastic play defensively by Jaquez Meadows from his defensive line spot. He got away from his blocker. He pushed him out of the way and more into Tyreek Thompson, just kind of pushed Thompson right into Bates. And then all he did was take Bates and hug him and throw him down to the ground. They say he's down at the 46-yard line, and Bates loses 6. Second down, very long. Second down and about 24. Quick pass intended for Sylvester Mayers is short and incomplete here to the near side. Bates was working on Jonathan Buns, who was in there trying to get to Mayers and was going to try to throw a block, but Robinson's pass was off the mark, and Sylvester never had a chance to get things going. And it is now third down and very long, 3rd and 24 for Hermitage near midfield. Robinson looking to pass, looking long down the middle, got a man, and jump ball, and it's knocked away. Nice defensive play by Khalil James. We remember his name from the At-Lee game last year. He is back defensively for Meadowbrook, and on fourth down, Rodriguez will have to come in to kick it away. Rodriguez to punt. Keontae Smith back deep for the Monarchs. Low wobbler, takes a bounce. Smith will get it at the 12. Near side, 25, 30, and down to the 34-yard line as he absorbs a couple of big hits as he goes down, but a nice 22-yard return for Smith. And the Monarchs will take over 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line with 9:31 to go here first quarter, and Meadowbrook holding a 7-0 lead.
Returns the punt to the 35-yard line, tackled by Fire Panthers.
23 yards officially on the punt return. And first down for Meadowbrook, and let's see if we get some more Miller. Why not? It's worked so far. Up the middle, got a hole, 45, 50, 40. A man to beat, and he's shoestring tackles him inside the 35 at the 33-yard line. Meadowbrook is just blowing the Hermitage defensive line off the football with authority, especially to the right side of the ball. They put it down at the 34, so that is a 31-yard carry. Meadowbrook has 4 offensive plays, all runs to Miller. He has 74 yards. First and 10 at the Hermitage 34. This time Miller going left side, and there's nothing there as both Woodson and Camaras help to swallow him up behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll lose a yard. It'll be second down and 11 at the Hermitage 35. So 5 carries, 73 yards after the loss of 1 there. Second and 11, 8:30 to go, first quarter. Tight eye formation. Miller right side, and he'll get caught behind the line of scrimmage again, and the Hermitage defense is waking up. One of the referees goes down to the end of the play. Linebacker Nick Jones coming in with a nice play and a 5-yard loss. And suddenly, the Monarchs have a third down and long coming up. And we have a timeout called. It's going to be the Hermitage defense who does that. So third down and 16. And the Panthers call timeout. Meadowbrook up 7-0, 7:59 to go. Here one in or as we like to say on Twitter, 1Q, or first quarter of action. And so glad you've joined us here live on HCS Media Network for the second of our two-night football doubleheader, ending up our week-long season premiere of our second season of live online high school sports coverage all season long. We ended our first season last year at State Championship Sunday, Father's Day, broadcasting both the Douglas Freeman baseball and the Cosby softball teams in their state championship games. And we'll have broadcast live all season long, all the way to June of 2015. Out of the shotgun, third down out of the timeout, screen developing, intercepted. Beautifully read, interception by Nigel Wilder. And the first turnover of the evening belongs to the Hermitage Panthers. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line. Nigel, he saw the screen and walked right in front of it and grabbed it. 1st and 10 Panthers at the 45-yard line. First down, handoff. Left side, and just a couple of yards there as staying home was Jonathan Buns, taking care of business there. Wilson will grab 2 on that play, and it'll be 2nd down and 8 at the 47 as we are at 7:35 to go. Fake. Robinson will keep it. Will dance around, go back to his left, and Buns will be there to stop him after another 2-yard gain, this time to the 49-yard line. And I tell you, Meadowbrook with nice penetration early in that play. Had they handed the ball off to Wilson, he would have been swallowed for a 3-yard loss. 3rd and 6, Wilson now beside Robinson. They'll bring Bates in motion. 4 wide receivers. Robinson rolling out to his left, down the field to Mayers, complete, first down, 30, 25, and out of bounds near the 20-yard line. They'll put him down at the 22. And that is a 30-yard gain on the first completion for Sylvester Mayers, who you may recall was running back for Glen Allen last year, and he transferred during the year last year and is now a wide receiver here at Hermitage. Sylvester is a junior. 6:55 to go, and the ball really closer to the 21-yard line. So we're going to call that a 31-yard pass play. And there's a sideline warning against Meadowbrook. And they've been asked to get away from the white line. First down, handoff Wilson, gets away from a man behind the line of scrimmage, crosses the 15 and down to the 13-yard line. Nice play to get away from 53, Stephen Delaney, who almost had him. And he's going to get closer to 9 yards on that carry, but that was all because of getting away from the man behind the line of scrimmage. They'll give it to him again, right up the middle this time. Hard yards, but he'll get across the 10 and move the chain. Actually, they'll put the chain down because it's going to be 1st and goal at the 9 after the 3-yard gain there. Panthers knocking on the door, looking to tie it up. 6:25 to go, first quarter, down 7-0. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Robinson shouting out the plays. He's got trip wide receivers, and there's only 2 Meadowbrook Monarch defenders over there. Robinson, handoff, Wilson. He'll get down near the 5-yard line, and and then he'll advance forward down to the 3. Looked like he was down to the 5, but he kept the legs churning, and he was able to grab 2 more yards, spinning off to the left-hand side. Nice job by Wilson. James doing the honors there defensively, and Herm is at the 3, 2nd and goal. Again, trip wides to the far side, 1 here to the near. Wilson behind Robinson. Sneed is the lone receiver here to the near side. 2nd and goal, high snap, fumble. Robinson just has to fall on it back at the 11-yard line, and then falling on him is Jaquez Meadows. And that could be a big break for the Monarchs. It'll bring up a 3rd and goal back at the 11-yard line, a loss of 8 yards on that bad snap. 3rd and goal, 5:20 to go. Hermitage trying to tie this game up here in their home opener. Robinson back to pass, looking for the end zone, looking for Mays in the corner. We have a penalty marker on the field. Mays lays out, and it was going to be out of bounds anyway. The ball a little bit overthrown just on the back side of the back pylon, but a nice job by Sylvester to lay out for that one nonetheless. But we have a little penalty marker on the field in the end zone, and if it's interference against Meadowbrook, that'll be a huge call. 5:10 to go, first quarter, and it is. Pass interference against Meadowbrook. It will be just a 5-yard penalty. It's half the distance to the goal, but it's makes it another 3rd down try for Hermitage. They get another shot at it much closer. Instead of 3rd at the 10, it's 3rd at the 5. 3rd and goal, and Robinson gets the ball snapped to him, and Coach Patrick Kane was about 10 yards into the field dying for a timeout, and he was able to get it. And so, interestingly enough, the Panthers have had to burn 2 of their 3 timeouts here in less than 7 minutes of playing time. And so Hermitage wants to talk about it here. 3rd and goal at the 5. $5:10 to go here in the opening quarter. And right now on Twitter, we are sending out a score update. We are also sending out an update to tell you how to watch, or I should say listen to our broadcast live on YouTube. You do not want to watch a me with a 3-hour selfie of just me talking. That's exactly what it would be. We turn that camera off. You don't need that. That'll induce nightmares. Just ask my wife. 3rd and goal coming up from 5:10 to go. Check it out at Henrico Sports, at Seafield Sports. Retweet it if you would. We'd appreciate that. Get the fans to listen in as we're at 5:10 to go in the first quarter, and Herm now has a 3rd and goal at the 5 coming out of the timeout. Bates is in motion. Robinson's looking in that direction. It's got him. Turns around. Touchdown. Touchdown, Hermitage Panthers. The Monarch defender over there, and it looks like it might be James. I'm not sure. If it's not James, then it's Richard Bethea-Toxey. Never turned around, never looked to see what was going on, and Ty Bates was able to just do what he wanted to do. Ran the route perfectly. That ball was thrown very well by Robinson after a couple of early jittery throws in that first drive that didn't go so well. Touchdown, Robinson to Bates, and Rodriguez on for the extra point that will tie the game. It's blocked. And a beautiful block that was. Number 14, Damon Bailey, blocking the extra point, coming right up the gut. No, usually most blocks you're coming around the corner and laying out. Not that one. He just won the battle on the line of scrimmage and got his big paw on that one. So touchdown Panthers. 5-yard pass to Ty Bates. But the PAT is blocked by Damon Bailey. Meadowbrook 7, Hermitage 6, 5:05 to go here in the first quarter. Live here on HCS Media Network, the RVA home for live high school sports. Bates was the man in motion. The man covering him just never really looked back for the ball. Bates was able to run his route just like he was in practice. And that was a pretty easy touchdown pass, but it's only easy if Robinson has got the nice touch, and he did, no doubt about that. But keep in mind, point after blocked, and that maintains the Meadowbrook lead now only by 1 at 7-6. Onside kick attempt. And a penalty marker on the field. Hermitage trying for a surprise onside kick, but I think somebody was offside. Wow. Hey, why not try to catch the Monarchs sleeping here early on in the game? I'm sure Coach Kane trusts his offense to put many more points on the board, but as he's trying to find a spark even though they just had a touchdown drive, I think he's still looking for a spark for his team. And it is illegal procedure against Hermitage, their 5th penalty of this first quarter. And it'll back it up to the 35, and I don't think Rodriguez will try that one again. And just in case, Meadowbrook brings 9 up within 8 to 10 yards of the 10-yard mark. And they've got 2 back deep. James is deep. Keontae Smith, who's already had one nice return here this afternoon. And here we go. That one, high and deep. It's going to drive Smith all the way back inside his 10. Has trouble with it. Finally gets it at the 5. Looks for running room far side now near. And is going to be happily going out of bounds at the 15-yard line. A late tackle there by 24 Calvin Whitehead. And some of the Monarch faithful below us was interested in having a penalty call, but that did not happen. And taking over first down and 10 will be Meadowbrook at their own 15-yard line. So nice job there by Rodriguez with a driving long kick to send Smith all the way back to his 5. He had problems handling the ball, and so the Monarchs start in poor field position at the 15-yard line. Again, 3 other games in the Central region tonight. All of them are 7 o'clock starts, and they'll be kicking off in about a half hour. We'll start giving you scores as they come in as our broadcast continues. Amos under center, 1st and 10. Handoff, Miller. Misses one man. Gets away at the 20 and then down to the 21 before Woodson turns around and is able to get him from behind. And so Miller for 6 on first down to the 21-yard line. Meadowbrook's had 8 offensive plays tonight, 7 runs by Miller, and 1 incomplete pass. Miller 7 carries, 74 yards, and the opening drive touchdown where he ran all 3 running plays, and there were 2 Hermitage penalties that helped that drive along, a 63-yard touchdown drive in under 2 minutes. 4:20 to go, long first quarter here, 7-6. Handoff Miller, and runs right into Kamara, and he'll fall forward for 2 yards to near the 24-yard line, 23.5. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down, and about 1.5 yards. Ball's at the 23.5, and they got to get to the 25 to move the chain. Amos gets the play and comes running in. And I think just about everybody here in the stadium knows what it's going to be. James is wide to the far side. Buns is far to the near, wide to the near side, I should say. They try to get Hermitage offside. They almost do, but they hold on. Amos changes things up, and now we have a penalty marker that might be delay a game. And boy, if that's the case, that's a big mental error. Yep. Holy cow, delay a game on a 3rd and 1.5. And the coaching staff not happy about that one at all. You know, if you're going to try to draw them offside to get the free first down, that's fine. Do it, try it, and then if it doesn't work, you know, put it behind you and snap the football. Get going. You don't have time to reset and act as if it's a fresh clock, because it's not. Time is running out. And that time Amos, his first start here at varsity in quarterback, showing the inexperience. And instead of 3rd and 1.5, it's going to be 3rd and closer to 7, about 6.5. Back inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. He's in the shotgun formation. Amos to pass. Flushed out of the pocket. Man coming. Another man coming, and he's down back at the 7-yard line. 28. Jones helping out there. And 44, Dom Thornton. So Thornton and James wrapping up Amos on the sack. And that will end the Meadowbrook drive, and the Monarchs will have to kick it away. Loss of about 10.5 on that one. And having to punt now in his own end zone is Luis Escobar, and 2 Hermitage Panthers back deep to receive at the Meadowbrook 40. So they're going to get phenomenal field position unless he gets a boomer off. Let's see. There's the kick. It's high, but it's kind of short. Fair catch called for at the 37-yard line. And that is Miller accepting the fair catch at the 20. And the Panthers will take over 1st and 10 at the Meadowbrook 37-yard line. First and 10 for Robinson and company with Wilson now beside him. Quick pass to Bates, complete here to the near side. Gets across the 35 and down to the 31-yard line where Bailey will bring him down. But Robinson's sixth pass is complete. And it will be good for 7 yards. And that will bring up a 2nd down and 3 for Hermitage. Wilson comes up beside Robinson in the pistol. He'll take the handoff, bang off a 1 Monarch, and knock down by 2 more, including Jonathan Buns helping out there, but he'll fall forward to the 28-yard line, gain 3, and make it a 3rd and 1. 1:20 to go, first quarter. A first quarter that's seen 8 penalties and 2 touchdowns, and the difference is a blocked extra point. Meadowbrook 7, Hermitage 6. Live on HCS Media Network. Robinson trying to drive Meadowbrook offside. Almost did. Now Wilson, the tailback. They'll fake it to him. The quick pass to Mayers out in the flat and complete first down and a little bit more down to the 23-yard line. And a 5-yard completion, second catch of the evening from Sylvester Mayers, the converted running back to wide receiver. And again, transfer from Glen Allen High School just down Staples Mill Road. Robinson 4 of 7 for 48 yards and the touchdown pass to Bates as we're under a minute to go here in the first quarter. First down, handoff. Wilson cuts back up the middle, gets inside the 20, and will keep his legs moving inside the 15 and down to the 14-yard line. Nice job there by Wilson to keep the legs churning, and he was able to juke and jive away from a couple of the Monarchs, and by the time he was brought down, it was an 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2 at the Meadowbrook 14, and Hermitage looking to strike. They'll bring Mayers in motion, fake it to him. Robinson will keep it, looking for a hole. He'll be able to get near the 10-yard line. They'll say knee down at the 11, and that should be enough for a first down. First down, Hermitage. It's going to be just outside the 10, I believe, so it should be 1st and 10 at the 11, which means they can get to the 1-yard line and have a 1st and goal. We'll get another playoff before the end of the quarter. Clock restarts after they put the ball down. Robinson looking into the end zone, slant pattern, touchdown! Hermitage Panthers. Kalen Sneed with 7.4 seconds to go in the opening quarter with the touchdown of 11 yards. And the Panthers take the lead on Robinson's second touchdown pass of the quarter. So the 11-yard touchdown pass from Robinson to Sneed. And Rodriguez now going to try to get the point after this time. It is up. And a penalty marker on the field. So it was good, but it may not matter. We may have to do that one again. There may have been a hold because, again, 14 Bailey, we were watching him on that one. He almost broke through, and I think somebody grabbed him to make sure he didn't get through, and that's why we had the holding penalty. And so suddenly this extra point is going to become a whole lot more interesting. 6th penalty of the quarter from Hermitage for 46 yards, and now you're going to make it a 30-yard point after attempt. And another penalty marker on the field. And this would make the 10th of the first quarter. We're on pace to beat the Cosby-Thomas-Dale mark of 31 penalties last night. Penalty against the Meadowbrook Monarchs this time is encroachment, so they're going to take it 5 yards, and now it's going to be a 25-yard field goal attempt. And another flag. Holy cow. And another encroachment penalty against Meadowbrook. So let's get this straight. Hermitage committed the holding penalty, so it's going to be a 30-yard PAT. Now Meadowbrook commits back-to-back offside penalties, and we're right back where we started from. All right, the tee down at the 10. Let's try this again. Extra point attempt is up, and it hits the crossbar. Partially blocked, no good. So with 7.4 seconds to go, Panthers 12, Meadowbrook 7. Here live on our first Friday night game of the week of 2014. Live on HCS Media Network, the RBA home for live high school sports. For those of you, whether you're listening via HenricoCountySports.net or ChesterfieldCountySports.net, thank you so much for being with us. Rob Witham along with you. And, of course, our friends on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. If you're a Hermitage fan, follow us at Henrico Sports for all things Henrico. And the Hermitage Panthers, certainly a big part of the county. And for those of you listening, enjoying the Monarchs action, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Seafield Sports, the letter C, Field Sports, for all things sports in Chesterfield County. So Hermitage takes the lead, but another missed extra point. Another one, this one partially blocked, makes it 12-7. Line drive kickoff, returnable. James at the 5, up the middle to the 15, and he slows down, and he'll be downed at the 15-yard line. He didn't have any blockers. They were so far out in front, and Hermitage was able to get away from them that he had no prayer. And that'll be the end of quarter number 1. After one quarter tonight here at Hermitage High School, your score, Hermitage with a 12-7 lead here live on HCS Media Network. Coming up at halftime, as we mentioned during our pregame show tonight, we will go over our 2014 Game of the Week schedule with our radio partners WHAN 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. It'll be my 13th season broadcasting high school football on WHAN Radio and our 4th season with the Game of the Week, where we feature 4 games. Of course, Hanover, WHAN being a station based in Ashland. Our coverage surrounds, or is the fulcrum of it, is what happens in Hanover County. So each week where there are 2 county teams facing each other, we cover that game, and that gives us 4 weeks to also cover other top games involving Hanover County schools, and we've got some really good ones on our schedule this season. And also we cover teams in the playoffs as well. But it all begins next Friday night when we go to Hanover to watch Derek Stout's second-year Hanover Hawks take on new coach Brian Davis and the Patrick Henry Patriots. Patriots looking for their first winning season since 2008. Their best season since then, a 5-5 record in 2010. Patrick Henry Hanover next Friday night at 6:30. That's 6:30 airtime, 7 o'clock kickoff live on WHAN 102.9 FM and 1430 AM, and you can hear it live simulcasted right here on HCS Media Network out of the Richmond area. Handoff to Miller on first down in the first play of the second quarter, and he'll go up the middle and fall forward to the 18-yard line. And that'll be 3 yards for Miller, who had 76 in the first quarter alone. And it'll be second down. Second and 7 for Justin Miller, who's been basically, with the exception of 2 incomplete passes by Amos and a sack, it's been all Miller offensively for Meadowbrook. Second down, handoff to him, got room up the left side, 25 to the 29-yard line, and that'll be enough for a Meadowbrook first down. Falls closer to the 30-yard line. And first down Monarchs to the 30. Miller with 91 yards in just over 1/4 of action. First down, Amos under center. Handoff Miller. Gets into the second wave of the defense across the 35 into the 37-yard line, and almost 7 more for Justin. 11 carries now and 98 yards. And Miller responsible for the touchdown that took the lead on the opening drive. That quick 3-play, 63-yard drive. He did not rush for 63 on that drive because 2 Hermitage Panther penalties helped that out too, as Meadowbrook scored just over a minute into the game. 2nd and 6, handoff Miller right side, this time a little tougher going. Kamara's in there to help out defensively for Hermitage, and we have a penalty marker coming in at the end of the play, as Artis 62 and Linwood Bowling 71 there on the offensive line having problems with big Suleiman Kamara. And it's going to be a hold, I believe. Let's see the official from the referee, and the official call is holding against Meadowbrook. So from the spot of the foul, it'll be a 10-yard mark-off. They're going to put it down to the 26-yard line. And that means we're going to do second down again. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Second and 14 for Amos and the Monarch offense, which has been all Justin Miller. He gets it again. And Woodson is there to wrap it up. The ball came loose, and it is recovered by the Panthers. Fumble by Justin Miller, and recovered by Hermitage deep in Meadowbrook territory. $9:50 to go. And now the Panthers with a chance to extend the lead off the turnover. Fumble recovered. They bring Mayers in motion. Penalty marker down. Robinson rolling. Pass down the sideline is incomplete. Intended for Christian Harden, but we had a penalty marker very early into the play. Illegal shift against the Panthers. 7th penalty of this first half, which is uncharacteristic for Hermitage. Although, again, we talked about this last night at the Cosby Thomas Dale broadcast. We expect a lot of penalties early on, a lot of mistakes early on. Happens every week, every year in the opening part of the season. We did not expect 31 penalties last night, and right now we have 13 accepted penalties here. So the ball back to the 33, and it'll be 1st down and 15. They bring Mayers in motion again. Robinson will roll to the near side. Dance around 2 Monarchs. Penalty marker down. Decides to run, and he gets all the way to the 22-yard line before he's finally brought down. But this is going to come back too. Holding Hermitage. And the Panthers keeping the Monarchs very close in this game here early, thanks to the gift of the penalty. 8 penalties for 61 yards by the Panthers, and we still have 9:25 to play before we get to halftime. Our game last night almost lasted 3 hours. We're on pace to have close to another 3-hour game if we keep having these penalties and interruptions. The ball is at the 48-yard line. 1st down and 31. Robinson down the middle. Got a man in double coverage, and it's knocked away. Nice play defensively at the last minute from Joseph Medina. And it's incomplete, and it'll be 2nd down back at the 48-yard line. They've got to get to the 18 or almost the 17 and a half. So it is 2nd down and 30 for Hermitage. Handoff to Wilson. Up the middle, is able to get across the 40. And had he broke another tackle, maybe he'd have got much more, but instead he goes down to the 37-yard line, but he picks up 11 to make it a 3rd down and 19. 3rd and 19 at the 37-yard line. Robinson back to pass, looking near side, and he's going down at the line of scrimmage. Finally, for a second, it looked like maybe he could have escaped. 25, Jesse Gilmer, but coming in to help finish the job, Jaquez Meadows helping out as well as another Monarch, and they bring Robinson down at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 4th down, and that drive will come to an end, and Rodriguez will have to kick. Rodriguez to kick it away, and he'll angle it toward the sideline. It's off the side of his foot, and he didn't get nearly what he wanted to get on that one. And it's going to go out of bounds at the 21-yard line, just a 17-yard punt. No return. 8:10 to go to the half. Monarchs take over 1st and 10, down 12-7. So glad you're with us here live tonight on HCS Media Network. Keep in tune with what we're going to be doing live online at all 3 of our websites. Our broadcast schedule on the right-hand side of the page at henricocountysports.net and chesterfieldcountysports.net. Or you can follow our new Twitter feed at HCS Media Network, designed specifically to give you broadcast schedule updates, new additions, links, and more. 1st down, Amos looking long, got James and overthrows him here at the 42-yard line of Hermitage. James had split the difference between the 2 Hermitage defensive secondary members, Jaden Miller and Dallas Carter-Taylor, and had Amos not put quite as much mustard on it and hit him, that would have been a big gain into Hermitage territory. Nicely designed play, and they almost pulled it off for a very nice gain. Instead, it'll be 2nd down, 8:02 to go before halftime. 12-7. Meadowbrook coming out like a house of fire, scoring in just over a minute's time to take a 7-0 lead. Miller has 101 yards, a touchdown, but a fumble in the last possession. He'll get the carry this time, and he'll run right into Kamara. And Kamara will have none of it, and it'll be a loss of a yard. Solomon Kamara all over him that time. And back to the 21. It'll be 3rd down and 11. And we have a penalty marker coming in from the far sideline, from the Meadowbrook sideline, and it's going to be a sideline. And this time, if it's sideline against Meadowbrook, it should be a marked-off penalty because it's the 2nd time. Sideline infraction. It's the 2nd time it's been called. First time you get a warning. 2nd time it's a 5-yard penalty. And so the Meadowbrook coaches and players need to stop towing that line. It cost them 5 yards and makes a 3rd and 11, now 3rd and 16. And we now have 7, 8, 15 accepted penalties in this first half with 7:40 to go. Referees are asking for, the clock should be restarting because after the penalty, referee rolls that right arm around, and the clock now running with 7:30 to go before the half. At their own 15, Amos in the shotgun on 3rd down and 16 for Meadowbrook, down 12-7. Amos back to pass, screen developing, and it's picked off at the 5-yard line. Intercepted, and what a beautiful play by Dom Thornton coming off the defensive line. 1st and goal, Hermitage. Wow. First and goal, Panthers, 7:15 to go. First down, Handoff to Wilson, and back there behind the line of scrimmage to knock him down immediately, Jeffrey Lee off the defensive line with a tremendous play. And it's a loss of 5 big yards. And it'll be 2nd and goal back to the 10-yard line. Beautiful defensive play by Lee. 2nd and goal now from the 10. Robinson looking at the slant pass, and wide open, dropped it in the end zone is Sneed. It was there, nobody was around him, and it hit the number 6 on Sneed's jersey and bounced to the turf. Old timers, that was shades of Jackie Smith in Super Bowl 13 for the Dallas Cowboys. No excuses, should have had it. 3rd down and goal coming up. So the incompletion makes it 6:43 to go before the half. It'll be 3rd and goal for Hermitage at the 10, trying to get the payoff off the interception off the screen pass by Thornton at the Meadowbrook 5. They bring Bates in motion. Robinson, fade. He's hit as he throws it, and it's intercepted by James. Here comes Meadowbrook down the sideline. 2 men to beat. Penalty marker on the field. And he'll finally be brought down inside the Hermitage 38-yard line. Hit as he's thrown is Robinson, and James with the interception with a great return into Hermitage territory, but a penalty flag back at the 42-yard line of Meadowbrook. So the interception will stand. Hermitage will turn it right back over to Meadowbrook, and some of James's nice interception return will be going by the board. So let's see where all's said and done. They will mark off the penalty, and it's 15 yards. They're going to say, and we didn't see it from up here, but they called an illegal forward pass on that play. Why James would try to do that? He tried to lateral it, and he lateraled it forward, and it ends up costing them 15 yards. They'll take over at the 45-yard line. Their own 45, but boy, dodging a huge bullet. And we've got whistles. Timeout, Meadowbrook. 6:29 to go to the half. Robinson back to pass. Gets hit as he throws it. It goes up in the air. He's looking for Sneed in the front corner of the end zone. And it only got to about the 4-yard line like a wounded duck. And James jumped up in the air, grabbed it, and off to the races he went. And then as he approached midfield, for whatever reason, he thought he would try to lateral the football, and he ended up pitching it forward. And, of course, you can't do that. And by the time the play ended, they were at about the Hermitage 42-yard line, about the 40. And so the 15-yard penalty mark-off puts it back to their own 45. But, boy, you think about it. This could be a huge swing in this game, especially if the Monarchs come in here and win this one tonight. For the Panthers to intercept the ball at the Meadowbrook 5, have it 1st and goal at the 5-yard line, leading 12-7, and they don't score, and then they turn around and give it right back on that interception. But really, to credit Meadowbrook's defense, they didn't give it away. Meadowbrook earned that interception on the nice hit on Robinson to force that wounded duck. 1st down, Miller on the carry. He'll fall toward midfield, knee down at the 49-yard line. And so 4 yards on 1st down as we approach the halfway point of the 2nd quarter. Second and 6 for Amos, Miller and company at the 49-yard line. Marcellus Corbin here to the near side, wide to the left, and he's the only receiver wide. Tight I formation. Hermitage with 8 in the box. Miller with the carry. Spins and is caught at the line of scrimmage. In fact, will be caught a yard behind the line, and we have a little bit of extracurricular after the play, but no penalty. 24 Calvin Whitehead and 80 Meadows having a little discussion. And it will be now third down. They're going to say he did get back to the original line of scrimmage, which I thought he did. Official here to the near side was saying 48, but it's back to the 49. So no gain, third down and 6. 5:10 to go to the half. They need to get to the Hermitage 45 to continue to drive. Power I formation now. And the handoff to Miller, right side, falls forward, will get the first down at the 45, keeps his legs alive, and finally down at the Hermitage 43. Beautiful 8-yard run there by Miller. And it's a first down for the Monarchs into Panther territory, looking to retake the lead, down 5 with 4:50 to go to the half. Miller would not be denied. Bounced off a couple of Panthers, and a couple of Panthers had a good shot at getting him on the ground prior to the first down and just couldn't wrap him up. And Meadowbrook says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the power I continues. 1st and 10 at the Hermitage 43-yard line, they'll mark it. Miller. No, this time Miller out. They're going to give him a breather. And into the game is Jace Miller, the junior. And Jace will bounce off right tackle and advance just inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, and is going to pick up 9 yards. First carry of the evening for Jace Miller, good for 9. And it's going to be second down and about 1.5 yards with 4 minutes to go before halftime, as the sun starting to set behind us here at Chester Fritz Stadium. It's sunny in half of the end zone on one end and the full end zone on the other, and we got shadow the rest of the way. Handoff, Jace Miller falls forward to the 30-yard line, and that'll be enough for another Monarch first down. So shades of that opening drive where Meadowbrook was just blowing the defensive line off the football for Hermitage. And they're starting to win that war again, and that's great news for Monarchs fans. If you've never been here to Hermitage, everybody sits on one side of the field. There are no visitor stands behind the Meadowbrook bench. They are all alone over there on the far sideline. Everybody sits on one side of the field, and we've got a penalty marker coming in. I believe that the fullback 31 flinched in the backfield, and it could be an illegal procedure call. And it will be. 9 penalties in this half for Meadowbrook, 8 for Hermitage, 17 total. 3:30 to go, clock running. Hermitage 12, Meadowbrook 7. Amos over Easter, his center. Justin Miller now back in the game. And he'll get the call, gets away from Woodson. First down and more, inside the 20, inside the 10, and inside the 5 to near the 3-yard line. Power running by Justin Miller and the Monarch offensive line. 32 yards, first and goal, Meadowbrook looking to retake the lead. So make that officially a 30-yard run, as they're going to say his knee was down at the 5. .250 to go. Down 12-7. Miller spins away and advances to the 3.5-yard line. Spun away from one Panther. I believe that was Woodson trying to get there. And DeBerry will take care of it. That's Chris DeBerry. Not to be confused with Ricky DeBerry from St. Christopher's, now over at Atlee. And we'll see him in 2 weeks for the first time in a Raider uniform. Our first Atlee radio coverage is September 12th when they go to Ashland to face Patrick Henry. 2:10 to go in the half, second and goal. The power formation continues. Miller again falls forward near the 2-yard line, maybe the 2.5. And Miller has had 19 carries in this half for 144 yards. It'll be third and goal at the 2. And one thing Hermitage can't do they've got to they got to tighten up here. They've done a decent job these last two plays. They've got to tighten up big time here and try to force the field goal attempt and keep the lead. 3rd and goal, 11 in the box. They all know what they're going to do. Here comes Miller, and they catch him behind the line of scrimmage. John Kinney in there. And it looks like Kamara's in there as well, and it's going to be a loss of 1.5 yards back to the 4-yard line on Miller's 20th carry of the half, and it'll be 4th down and goal. And now, if you are Meadowbrook, what do? Do you kick the 3 and cut the lead to 2? Or do you have more trust in your running game? And they're going to call a timeout to talk about it with 1:13 to go here in the first half. We are just after 7 o'clock Eastern time, which means the other 3 games in the Central region are kicking off right now. Jaguars have won the toss, and they've deferred to the second half. Our good friend at GA Jag Athletics on Twitter, Mr. Brummett, welcome back. Glad to have you for another season at Henrico Sports on Twitter. Jaguars up at Caroline to take on the Cavaliers in their opener in the first game for brand new head coach Keelan Mayo. Mayo was the JV coach for the first 4 years of its existence. Glen Allen opened in 2010. They played just JV football that fall, and then they began their varsity campaigns in 2011. They finished 1-9, 2-8. Last year, they went 4-6, went to the playoffs for the first time, fought Denby pretty well, but then fell to Denby down in Newport News at Todd Stadium, finished 4-7, and then Glen Allen decided to make a change at the head coaching position. Francistel Smith was let go after 3 seasons. They brought up Mayo from the JV squad and had him take over the varsity, and they are now kicking off against Caroline. So at the 4-yard line out of the timeout, 4th and goal at the 4, and they've elected to go for it. Here we go. Fake it to Miller. They're trying to pass it. Amos trying to get to the corner of the end zone, and he will. Touchdown, Meadowbrook Monarchs. They fake it to Miller. Amos, I think, had a situation there to where he could pass or he could run, and he looked to pass briefly, and then he realized, I don't have anybody. Now I got to get to that pylon. And he turned it on, and he was able to just beat the Hermitage defender. And with 44 seconds to go before halftime, it is a 13-12 Meadowbrook lead. Extra point attempt coming now from Escobar. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So Escobar's kick is good, and with 44 seconds to go before the half, Meadowbrook, they scored very quickly early in the first quarter. They score in the final minute of the first half, and they retake the lead. 14-12 your score. Hermitage will get the football with these final 44 seconds, plus they do get the second half kickoff as well. And with all the penalties and all the stoppages of play, this has turned out to be a very entertaining first half of football. And the Panthers are going to go into this halftime with a whole lot of questions and some definite adjustments that they're going to want to make, especially in the front 7 or 8 defensively, trying to slow down Justin Miller. 143 yards in one half of football. Hermitage doesn't give up 143 yards to a rusher in a half very often at all. Tremendous effort. Here comes the kick. It's a short one, going to be fielded by Mayers. The 25, he fumbles it, turns around, and is swallowed up immediately at the 23-yard line by Richard Bethea-Toxey. So nothing Nothing there, and Hermitage will take over pedestrianly at the 23-yard line with 38.6 seconds to go. 14-12. Amos on the 4-yard scamper for the touchdown on a 4th down and goal. From the 23-yard line, you got to be careful here. Penalty marker on the field, and I think Meadowbrook had 12 players. Yeah, I count 12. One tried to get off really quick, but it didn't work. So it'll be 1st and 5 as the Monarchs have committed 10 penalties for 75 yards, and Hermitage has committed 8 for 61. We have 18 first-half penalties tonight. 14-12 Meadowbrook, 38.6 to the half. Handoff to Wilson. Across the 30, now dances right, looking for more blockers, trying to get to the corner. Robinson's in front of him, 45, out of bounds near midfield. And with 27 seconds to go, it's a 21-yard run for Wilson, his biggest one of the night by far. And now the Panthers are at midfield with 27 seconds to go. Monarchs are like, okay, man, we got to stop this thing. Panthers are like, hold everything. Maybe we could get something on the board here. Robinson, back to pass. Flushed out of the pocket. He'll take off. He's got room. 40, 35, 30, and out of bounds inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. 23 yards. And a first down for the Panthers. They'll mark it just inside the 29-yard line. About the 28. 19 seconds to go. And the Panthers are near the red zone. Trips to the left. One to the near side is Sneed. Robinson looking for Sneed. Got him. And he falls inbounds at the 12. And Kane runs into the field of play yelling, timeout, 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 timeout. He has to run all the way in front of an official to finally get his attention, and he is livid, and he has every right to be. Officials should be looking for a coach to call a timeout in that situation and not looking away, and that cost Hermitage 3 or 4 seconds. There'll be 7.2 on the clock at this moment unless Kane can plead his case and get an opportunity to get some more time on the clock. The ball at the 16, it's a 12-yard completion. Robinson to Sneed. And Hermitage fans, I got to tell you, you lost about 4 seconds of time you should have had. So they started at their own 23-yard line. They are now down to the Meadowbrook 16. From the 16-yard line, they're going to bring Rodriguez in. And now we have a timeout called. Meadowbrook was not ready for that. They came out thinking defense, and Coach Taylor and company had to call a timeout for Meadowbrook and say, oh, wait a minute. We weren't expecting Jesus to come out. And Rodriguez lined up for the field goal attempt, and not a bad idea. With 7 seconds left, give your kicker an opportunity from the right hash mark. Or I should say the right imaginary hash mark. There are no hash marks here at Chester Fritz Stadium. So from the right imaginary hash mark for Rodriguez with a chance for the field goal to take the lead here before halftime. So it's 7.2 left in the half. Got to watch for a block here because it would be returnable. 23-yard line is down, 33-yard attempt, and the kick is partially blocked into the end zone and no good with 2 seconds left in the half. And we are starting to get updates on scores here from other games as they get underway. We're going to go to the half at 14-12. The Monarchs are going to just kneel on this one. They take the knee, and we are through one half of football tonight. Halftime here at Chester Fritz Stadium. And Meadowbrook is holding a 2-point lead thanks to a blocked and a partially blocked extra point attempt. And there at the end of the half, the partially blocked 33-yard field goal attempt. The difference so far in the game tonight. Scores are starting to come in. First score of the night from Monacan Dinwiddie goes to the defense of the Chiefs. They get a safety, and they take a 2-0 lead over the defending 4A state champion Generals, who again lost a ton of players last season. And they, of course, are kind of starting anew. They are number 6 in our NBC 12 WHAN Radio preseason top 10 poll. They've got a ton of talent, but experience is going to be their issue. And they start off in a 2-0 deficit at home against Monacan. Colonial Forge has struck first tonight against Highland Springs at Highland Springs. Colonial Forge 7, Highland Springs nothing, with about 2+ minutes gone in that game. Those two scores just into us here at Chester Fritz Stadium. Waiting to hear our first report from Glen Allen at Caroline. That game is underway as well. Those are the 4 games here in the Central Region on this Friday evening. 14-12 here in our game on HCS Media Network, the RBA home for live high school sports, as Meadowbrook holds the lead over Hermitage thanks to special teams play, 2 blocked extra points, and a blocked field goal that would have given Hermitage a 1-point lead there with 7 seconds left before the half. Well, got about a 20-minute break. We're going to get a nice treat with the Hermitage Marching Panthers. The fans that have, quite frankly, filled in quite nicely. A lot of fans arriving after the 6 p.m. kickoff time. We talked about how the crowd was a little bit on the slow side right as we started the game, as we finished up the national anthem. We talked about the whole Labor Day and vacation situation, but also with the 6 p.m. kick, some people, if they're working today, they couldn't get off till 4:30, 5 o'clock. You got to get home, get stuff, and then head on over. And so sometimes you can't make the 6 o'clock kickoff, but they're here now. We've got partly cloudy skies. Temperature has been pretty good in terms of comparing it to yesterday for sure. Boy, the humidity was oppressive last night. We've got that high-pressure system up north that's brought in air from the ocean, that nice northeast breeze today. So the humidity has been cut down with the front going down to the south. Brought the breeze in, and so even though we hit 84, 85, 86 degrees, even 87 in some areas here in Richmond today, with dew points in the 50s, it felt much more comfortable and with a breeze. There was no breeze last night at Cosby High School, and it just added to the humidity and the oppression. And if you'll recall, we had about 10 different Cosby Titans and Thomasdale Knights, mostly Thomasdale Knights, go down to cramp injuries last evening. We haven't had any injury timeouts in this game. This game has been, as last night's game was, beset big time by penalties. So the score once again, 14-12, with the Monarchs taking the halftime lead. We're going to take about a 90-second timeout. Hang out with us in just a moment. We'll be right back, get a chance to catch our breath, grab a sip of water. And here on the halftime report, we will again review our 2014 WHAN Radio Game of the Week schedule, which will kick off next Friday night with Patrick Henry Hanover. Looking forward to another season, our 4th season of the Game of the Week and our 13th season of high school football on WHAN 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. We will talk about that coming up in just a second. Take about a 90-second break. Stay with us here live on HCS Media Network on our YouTube channel. We are the RVA home for live high school sports. Back in just a second.
Selections to include New Year, Lantern, Dragon, and Winter. Drum major, salute when ready, and begin your show. and gentlemen, the Marching Panther.
All right, my friends, thanks so much for allowing us a second there to catch our breath a little bit and take a very, very quick break. Not only here on HCS Media Network do we keep you up to date on high school sports, and of course we follow it very closely, very carefully, and we broadcast it on a regular basis all year long, but we are whatever is happening in the metropolitan Richmond area. So on our Twitter feeds at Henrico Sports and at Seafield Sports for Chesterfield, you will see us supporting other area athletic endeavors as well. Looking at the other, everybody tweets about, for example, VCU men's basketball. And certainly we tweet out final scores and information and things like that. But the whole world loves to tweet about the Rams and the Richmond Spiders and the Atlantic 10. But we also like to support the other sports at those schools that are lesser known. Just sent out a retweet on Henrico Sports. VCU field hockey underway in the 2014 season. They've got Drexel tonight, and they've got about 20 minutes into that match, and it is scoreless. And the update courtesy of our friends at VCU Scores on Twitter. So we'd like to keep you posted on everything that is going on in the area, not just the big sports, but all the sports, because there's just simply so much going on. And one of the things that we enjoy doing the most is following local players when they move on from the high school ranks into college. And, of course, we have a whole crew of brand new players who were with us last year in the high school ranks in Metro Richmond who are now at college. Tomorrow night when Florida State's on my television, the defending national champions, I don't think I'm going to see Atlee grad Alec Eberle in action, but the fan in me is going to be looking to see if he's on the sideline, and it's just fun to see that and take trips and catch up with those kids and see how they're not just their college career is doing, but how they're doing academically, following up on them, and it's just a lot of fun and honestly one of the greatest parts of the work that we do here at HCS Media Network. And the other part of that that's so much fun is all the supporters that we meet, the parents of the student athletes, the other family members, the grandparents. We have some great athletic directors in the area. One of the best resides right here at Hermitage High School, and Chris Rollison. He is just a phenomenal help to us and has been so welcoming and so open, helping us out, not just with Hermitage football, with Hermitage athletics completely and totally. And we are grateful to him for all of the work that he does for Hermitage High School and to all of the ADs. And we've got some ADs that are new here in the area this year. New athletic director at James River, new athletic director at Tucker, Chris Brown going over there from Henrico, where he was an assistant to Vance Harmon on the basketball team that, of course, won the state title 2 years ago and made it to the state final last year. And we had a move with Trip Metzger heading from Tucker over to Lee Davis to replace Della Childress, who is now working in the math departments at Hanover and at Lee High School. She's moved more back into the academic realm. We're going to miss Della. Boy, she was just a wonderful person to work with at Lee Davis, but Mr. Metzger is a wonderful person to work with, too, so we're looking forward to that. So there are so many people behind the scenes that work very, very hard, coaches, assistant coaches, athletic directors, trainers, and more, and very few of them get much money, if any at all, for all the hours that they put in to enrich the lives of thousands of student athletes here in the metropolitan Richmond area. So we always like to take a second to salute them and thank them for their service. Well, we mentioned we wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming up on the game of the week this season as we kick off our 13th season of high school football coverage on WHAN Radio, and it begins next Friday night. Looking forward to it. My favorite 10, 12, 13 weeks of the year are fall football Friday nights. I've been asked by many people over the last couple of years, well, Rob, do you ever want to do, college sports. So, if ESPN ever called you, would you ever be interested? And I've always told them the answer is absolutely no. I enjoy watching college football at home on a Saturday if we're not out covering Randolph-Macon, for example, for the Hanover Herald-Progress. I love me some NFL Red Zone on Sunday afternoons. It's revolutionized the way I watch NFL football. But no, in terms of broadcasting, there's no place I'd rather be than in a high school on a Friday night. There's just an aura and an atmosphere surrounding it that 80,000 fans at an NFL stadium cannot duplicate. I don't care how loud the 12th man is in Seattle. I would rather be with the Rage Cage in Atlee or the Asylum at Lee Davis, any fan base, any student fan section in any school here in the metropolitan Richmond area, hearing them cheer on their boys of fall on Friday night. And we're going to do it again for the 13th consecutive year, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, next Friday night. Here is our WHAN schedule for 2014. We begin next Friday at Hanover when Patrick Henry begins their new era under head coach Brian Davis. Brian's father was a longtime head coach at Ferrum College. Davis was a successful head coach in North Carolina, has been an assistant down in North Carolina for the last year after a job opportunity down in the Williamsburg area fell through due to a discrepancy in terms of his teaching license. It was nothing he did wrong, just something didn't work out, something, the paperwork or whatever the case may be, and unfortunately he wasn't able to take that position. So he had to be an assistant last year, kind of last minute for a friend in North Carolina. And then when the Patrick Henry opening came up first of 2014, he was named to the post back in March. And so Brian Davis will take on second-year Hanover head coach Derek Stout and their new quarterback, sophomore Clayton Cheatham, as the Hawks will host the Patriots next Friday night here on WHAN. Well, I should say on WHAN Radio. We're not on the radio tonight, obviously. We are live here on the web. In 2 weeks, we get our first look at the Atlee Raiders. Coming off their best season in school history, this will be the 24th season of Atlee Raider football, and expectations are sky high. If they don't make it to the state semis, to the state championship, I don't think they'll consider it to be a successful season. That is how much optimism there is on Atlee Station Road. Now, the coaches will tell you things differently, and some of the the players, I will say, will tell you things differently. But you talk to the fans of Atlee, and they are just so stoked for 2014. And even though they lost a ton of talent, Eberle to Florida State, Ty Burris, the all-everything linebacker and punt returner and wide receiver, who's now at James Madison with wide receiver Daniel Glimpf, and several others as well, but they got a ton coming back. Chad Van Landingham and J.J. Givens, who has an offer from Virginia Tech. Defensively, they bring Ricky DeBerry in from St. Christopher's. Dandridge returns at running back. They got a great junior coming up from JV named A. James Zoller, who we're going to talk a lot about this season at running back for the Raiders. They've got a very interesting wide receiving core, and they've got plenty of talent up front, even though they lost 3 of their 5 starters to colleges, 2 to Division I schools, 1 to Hampden-Sydney. But Atlee will be ready to go against Patrick Henry at PH on September the 12th. And then on the 19th of September, it is the 2014 Tomato Bowl, the 56th edition of one of the longest-held rivalries in high school football, not only in Richmond but in the Commonwealth of Virginia, when Patrick Henry goes to Lee Davis. And it'll be our first look at the new Lee Davis head coach, Ryan Turnage, taking over for Zach Hayden, who stepped down after 4 seasons late in the school year, back in May, to devote some time to family, which I certainly can't blame Coach Hayden about that. And boy, we had so much fun working with him the last 4 years, and we will certainly miss him. But look forward to watching Turnage and company against Davis and company. The 56th Tomato Bowl will be on September the 19th. On September 26th, week 4, we go to Highland Springs to get our first look at Lauren Johnson Springers, who are in action tonight in their opener, and they will be taking on Hanover. Hanover at Highland Springs on September the 26th. And in October the 3rd, it will be, I'm sure, a raucous atmosphere at Hanover. It is the hottest rivalry in Hanover County. It's one of the best rivalries in the Richmond area right now. I would tell you that it's one of the most, if not the most competitive rivalries in the area right now, save the possibility of Verina Highland Springs, and that is Atlee Hanover. Those 2 teams have had some classics over the last 5 years. They met twice in 2011 with the playoffs, and now they meet again at Hanover, October the 3rd, Atlee at the Hawks. October 10th, we mentioned this earlier tonight on our broadcast, will be at Patrick Henry for J.R. Tucker. Patrick Henry, and also for a very special event, they will be honoring the 20th anniversary of the 1994 Patrick Henry State Championship team. We'll be there for that game. Now, special note on that game, we'll be live on the internet that night. Randolph-Macon football plays that week on Friday night at home against Catholic University under the lights at Day Field. So WHAN is contractually obligated to run Randolph-Macon live, which means our J.R. Tucker Patrick Henry game on the radio will be delayed on Saturday the 11th. October 17th, we head back to Highland Springs to watch Lee Davis take on the Springers in week number 6. Week 7, it's the traditional rivalry between Hanover and Lee Davis, that game in Mechanicsville this year. And then week number 9, Halloween night. Oh, Lord have mercy. Can't wait for Halloween night. It will be at Lee going to Highland Springs to take on the Springers, who will have revenge on their mind. And Atlee win over Highland Springs in Week 9 last year, put Atlee into the number 2 seed, put Highland Springs into that, oh man, that killer 4-5 bracket where they played Hermitage in the first round of the playoffs. They fell short, ending DJ Johnson's quarterback career. The Springers will look for revenge, and that game could have huge playoff implications come Week 9 on Halloween. And then, of course, our regular season wraps up November 7th with the traditional Battle of Eastern Hanover. For the 24th time in the regular season, Atlee and Lee Davis will face off against each other, and that game will be at Atlee. We'll finally get a chance Week 10 to get to see the Skybox and get in front of the Rage Cage. And then our live coverage of Playoffs 2014 will begin on November the 14th. You can get our complete schedule of not just football, but all the other broadcasts that we'll have all year long on HCS Media Network on all 3 of our websites, HanoverCountySports.net, HenricoCountySports.net, and ChesterfieldCountySports.net. So that's a look ahead at the next 10 weeks of radio and internet broadcast of high school football on Friday night. Take a quick moment to send a tip of the hat and my best regards and my best of luck to my friendly competitor and longtime friend, Gary Hess, who is now 2 decades into his great run as the voice of the high school game of the week on Sports Radio 910. Gary and I usually run into each other. We share a game about once a year, and I suspect we will again at some point this season. And we worked together at Clear Channel at Sports Radio 910 and WRVA for 8 years, from the late 90s to the late 2000s, and Gary is a dear friend of mine. And so I don't consider him a competitor on Friday nights. I consider him a friendly competitor. Gary and his partner, of course, Gary Criswell, have a fantastic broadcast, a lot of fun, a lot of hijinks, and when we're, whatever reason, not on the air on Friday night due to weather or what the case may be, and that's all happened before, or if our game ends early sometimes and I'll get out to the car and turn on the radio and they'll either still be late in their game, or if they're in Chesterfield with a 7:30 start, or maybe their game went into overtime or whatever the case may be, I enjoy listening to those guys. So a tip of the cap to them. I'd love for you to listen to our game of the week on WHAN 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. But, hey, if you're a Hermitage fan and you listen into the game of the week on 910 against Verina September 19th, I totally understand why, because that's where your allegiances should lie. So best of luck to Gary and Gary as they kick off their season next Friday night as well. And they're going to be down in Chester for the battle between Bird and Dale. Bird kicking off their defense of their 2nd straight state championship. And, of course, we had Dale here on the network last night losing to Cosby by 1. And if they don't get some things straight, it could be a long night in Chester as Thomas Dale hosts the Battle of Chester next Friday night. All right, 1 quarter in the books down in Dinwiddie, and the Monacan Chiefs with a 2-0 lead over the Dinwiddie Generals. Monacan scoring on an early safety, and that's all the scoring that's happened so far in that game. So the defending 4A state champions struggling out of the gate after 12 minutes. Monacan 2, Dinwiddie 0, and that is after 1 period of play. I want to thank my good friend Court Wills down at the Progress Index in Petersburg for that update, and we just retweeted her on Twitter at Seafield Sports. All right, my friends, both teams back out on the field, stretching and getting ready. We've got just a couple of minutes to go, about a 3-minute warning here, and we'll be ready for second half action tonight as Hermitage tries to take the ball down the field and retake the lead, down to 14-12 at halftime. Quick review of the scoring for you in the first half in case you're joining us late. Meadowbrook took the opening kickoff on a 3-play, 63-yard drive in under 90 seconds, just over a minute. It took 62 seconds. Justin Miller from 13 yards out for the touchdown. All 3 offensive plays were Miller runs in that drive, and it was 43 yards of Miller and 20 yards of Hermitage penalties. And Meadowbrook led 7-0 just like that. It took a while, but Hermitage got on track with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Touchdown pass of 5 yards from Robinson to Jalen Banks. Check that to Ty Bates. Ty Bates on the touchdown, and the extra point attempt was blocked. And, I mean, coming through in the middle to do the job without a problem was Damon Bailey, and he's been a nightmare on special teams for Hermitage all through this half, and we'll explain in a moment. He's mostly the reason why it is a 14-12 game and not a tie game. So the PAT no good. It was 7-6. Then Hermitage struck again just before the end of the first quarter on an 11-yard touchdown pass from Robinson to Sneed. And that extra point attempt, which was almost a comedy of errors in the sense that there was a 10-yard holding penalty, so it was going to be a 30-yard attempt. And then Meadowbrook was offsides. It was 25. Meadowbrook was offsides a second time, and we were back where we started from with a regular extra point attempt after 3 penalties, and Bailey partially blocked that one. And it was no good, and the Panther lead was 12-7. And then the Monarchs got it going under Miller again, drove inside the 5. Then they stalled. They faced a 4th down and goal at the 4-yard line, and they lined up in the power I formation. The quarterback, D'Angelo Amos, faked it to Miller and then ran the bootleg down the left side. It was a design pass to where he could run or pass the football. He cocked it one time looking to throw it, but his receiver was covered, so then he took off for the front pylon. He beat the Hermitage defense, and Meadowbrook retook the lead at 44 seconds to go before the half. But then Hermitage ran 3 plays, gained 61 yards, and Jesus Rodriguez had, with 7 seconds left, a 33-yard field goal attempt that would have given Hermitage the lead, but it was, yes, partially blocked. And so 3 blocked kicks in the first half cost Hermitage 5 points. And instead of a Hermitage 17-14 lead after 2 quarters tonight, your score is Meadowbrook 14, Hermitage 12. And so what did Patrick Kane and company have to say to his crew? Expectations are as high here this season as they are at Atlee, as we talked about a few moments ago, and certainly as they are at LC Bird, with them coming off 29 straight wins and 2 consecutive state championships. All 3 of those programs, Atlee recently, here beginning really I think last year, all 3 of those programs now come into the season saying we can win the state championship. LC Bird's been saying it for a while, and they finally got it done. Hermitage has been saying it for a while, came very close in 2010, close again in 07 and 11, but they're still searching for that championship. And what they don't want to do is start the season by laying an egg here at home before Labor Day against Meadowbrook, because come power ratings and playoff time, this could be a very big game. 2 5A South teams squaring off. So here we go. Argueta to kick it away, and 2 men back deep for Hermitage as we get set for third quarter action. It's a high short kick taken by the up man at the 24-yard line to the 30. Got a block, 35, down to the 37-yard line. Jaden Miller on a nice return, and it'll be 1st and 10 Hermitage Panthers at the 37-yard line. And then we have a penalty marker fly in well after the end of the play. So 18 penalties in the first half, 10 for Meadowbrook, 8 for Hermitage, and number 19 is about to be announced by the head official. Dead ball personal foul against the Panthers. So Coach Kane and company get the instructions. He makes the adjustments. They have a nice return. And what happens? One of his players commits a personal foul after the return, and it backs the Panthers up from their own 37 to their own 22. And that is uncharacteristic for a Patrick Kane coach team. 1st and 10. Robinson sets it at the 42 by himself in the pistol. Quick drop, slant, dropped at the 33-yard line. Taking his eye off the football is Christian Harden, the big 6'4", 195 senior. He was wide open, and he looked in front of him to see what was ahead of him, and he forgot to keep the football. Got to have the ball, then you worry about what's ahead. Incomplete, 2nd and 10 at the 22. Handoff to Wilson, right side, got plenty of running room, and he'll get down to the 30-yard line before Bethea Toxie brings him down. Wilson with 57 yards in the first half, and he will gain about 8 on his first carry of the second half, and it will bring up a 3rd down. 3rd down and 2.5 for Hermitage at their own 30-yard line. Handoff, right side, plenty of room, 1st down and much more. Midfield and slipping and falling at the Meadowbrook 47 is Wilson. If he could have gotten around that man, he could have been gone. 23 yards for Wilson. 1st down Hermitage in the Meadowbrook territory. Handoff to Wilson. No, he's going to fake it. Robinson, pass far side to Mayers, complete for maybe about 5 yards. He'll go out of bounds at the 42.5-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and 5 after that completion. 7 for 13, 46 yards for Robinson. Handoff Wilson. He gets caught right at the 40. He'll get 2 and then swallowed up there. And we'll have another 3rd down and short coming up. Mayers has 3 catches tonight for 41 yards in his debut for the Panthers. 3rd down, Wilson now is going to go to the right of Robinson in the pistol. High snap, he handles it. He rolls this way, looking for his man, complete and out of bounds. 1st down, cast complete to Mayers. Another catch for Sylvester, and it'll be a 1st down for the Panthers. $10 yards on the completion, 8th completion of the night for Robinson. And Rashad gets him up quickly. Handoff to Wilson. And they're going to have him down at the 27, falling forward for 3 yards. And Hermitage wanting to work very, very, very quickly on offense. 2nd down, back to Wilson. And this time, nice penetration by the Meadowbrook defense. Brian Young helping out on that stop. He'll fall forward to the 25 for only about 2. And it will be 3rd down coming up. 3rd down, call it 7. Robinson looking, overthrowing his intended receiver, Mayers, as he was going down the left side at about the 10-yard line. Had protection, had time. Too far for Rodriguez, too close to punt. The Panthers will go for it on 4th down and 7. At the Meadowbrook 27-yard line. 9:52 to go, 3rd quarter. Hermitage down 14-12. Here comes the blitz. Robinson avoids it. Pass complete to Sneed. He hauls it in, absorbs the hit from James, and he'll fall at the 20-yard line, and that should be just enough for the 1st down. Beautiful catch by Sneed, who's got a touchdown pass tonight. They need 7. They got 7.5. 1st down, Hermitage, fake to Wilson. Robinson to Mayers, out far side. He'll catch it, go out of bounds for a 3-yard gain. So they're trying to widen and stretch the field as much as they can, and Rashad has 10 completions tonight on 17 attempts for 60 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. 9:35 to go, 2nd down and 7. Handoff Wilson, trying to find running room right side. He won't find it. Meadowbrook swallows him up, and a penalty marker on the field. Bailey on the tackle. Buns helping out as well. And the one thing that'll stop the Hermitage offense is a penalty marker. Looking for the penalty call. And here comes the referee. Penalties against Hermitage Well, there's 2 against Hermitage. Check that. It's been the first one's declined. The holding will be obviously the one that is accepted, and that will be Hermitage's 10th penalty of the night. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. We'll put the ball back at the 27.5-yard line, and they've got to get to the 10 for a first down. 2nd down and 17 now. Robinson looking back here to the near side. Got a man open, and he overthrows him. It's Wilson, who he faked the handoff to, and then Wilson took off down the right sideline. He got behind Buns, and nobody was there, but Robinson well overthrew him. That would have been 6 points without a problem, but instead it's going to be 3rd down and 17 at the 27, and everybody's lined up except Wilson, who's finally getting back here to the backfield. 3rd down, 17. Robinson back to pass. Got to get away from 2 Monarchs and does. Going to run for it. 20, 15, and down inside the 15. No, they'll say at the 15-yard line. So Rashad Robinson gets 12 yards on the scamper after he had to get out of the pocket that collapsed, and it's going to bring up a 4th down and 5. At the 15-yard line. Robinson looking for a pass, slant, incomplete. Knocked away on 4th down and 5 by Joseph Medina on the coverage of Christian Harden. That time Harden couldn't get separation, and they will turn it over on downs. They get down to the 15, but that's as far as they get. Monarchs lead at 14-12. 8:44 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Got our first Essex-Goochland update of the night. We'll give that to you in just a moment. Opening drive for Hermitage falls short. They get nothing out of it. Here comes that I formation, and the handoff to Justin Miller, and the Hermitage left side of the defensive line will stiffen up. Charbel Smith leading the way from his linebacking position, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a half a yard. They're going to give him a... Waiting for the gentleman holding the 2nd down sign to put it down. And he finally do, and it is 1 yard. And it'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Monarchs. Essex with a 13-7 lead over Goochland now early 2nd quarter. Again, 13-7. 2nd down, 8 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Handoff, Miller, and he's wrapped up from behind and pushed back, and that'll end the play, and a penalty marker on the field, and it's going to be a personal foul against Hermitage, and an absolutely stupid play. The whistle blew, and linebacker John Kinney kept pushing. When you hear that whistle blow, you're supposed to stop. Instead, it's going to be an automatic 1st down for the Monarchs instead of a 3rd and long deep in their own territory. Holy cow. 11 penalties for 101 yards tonight against the Panthers. That would have been a 3rd and probably 10. Didn't look like he even got back to the line of scrimmage, but instead they stood him up. They never tackled him. The referee blew the whistle, but Kenny kept pushing him back. And the referee said no and threw the flag. 1st and 10 Monarchs. They'll take that advantage. Fresh set of downs at their own 31. Handoff to Miller. Flag on the play as Hermitage stiffens again. The left side of the line doing much better in this 2nd half, and Miller's not able to get any traction going so far after he looked like an all-state player in the 1st half with 143 yards rushing. Tackled back at the 30 for a loss of 1. Now the question is, what's the penalty call? And I think it might be against Meadowbrook. And we've got a block in the back against the Monarchs. So now 11 penalties for both teams. And that will push it back to the 19-yard line. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll bring up a first down and about 21. They got to get to the 41-yard line, and they're at the 19. So, no, actually first and 22. Amos will roll to his right and look to pass. Looking downfield, got a man open, but overthrows his intended receiver. Keontae Smith had gotten in between the two lines of the Hermitage defense and was wide open back near the original line of scrimmage and probably would have turned around and gained enough yardage to get at least close to a first down. But Amos overthrew him by 4 feet. So that'll bring up a second down and 20. Well, this is interesting. The ball was at the 19 for first down. The ball's now at the 20. So somehow on an incomplete pass, Meadowbrook gains a yard. It'll be second down and 21 at the 19-yard line, at the 20-yard line. Check that. It's the first week for everybody. The up man gets the carry this time, the fullback on the call, and he'll fall forward for 2 to the 22-yard line. That was Jace Miller on the carry. Referees are calling for time. Officials' timeout being called for with 6:55 to go here in the third quarter. Highland Springs has taken the lead for the first time tonight. Back-to-back touchdowns make it 12-7. Highland Springs over Colonial Forge at home early second quarter. 14-12 here, Meadowbrook over Hermitage. Third down, going to go long as Amos down the sideline, underthrown, and it's going to be intercepted at midfield. Here come the Panthers. 40, got a block, and down at the 40-yard line. Interception, Jaden Miller. Second interception of the night against Amos. Penalty marker at the end of the play. There's going to be probably a hold or a block in the back coming up, which is going to push Hermitage back. But they'll still have very good field position. $23 penalties now. 12 against Hermitage, 11 against Meadowbrook. And that one's going to be, should be the 15-yard variety, which means go back to the 45-yard line, unless they're doing it from the spot of the foul, which is what they're doing. And the spot of the foul was at the Hermitage 49, which is about where Miller intercepted the ball.
First down, Panthers.
We had 31 last night. We're on pace to smash that here tonight. Robinson and company ready. And he fakes it to Wilson and will throw it down the flat to Sneed. It's complete, gets a block, goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So 8 yards on the completion on first down. Sneed's fourth catch of the evening for 38 yards, and he has a touchdown. Second down and 2. This time it'll go to Wilson, and he will fall forward and get a yard and a half, but it'll be short of the first down. And it'll bring up a third down and short. 3rd and 1 for Hermitage at the 44. And we have a Monarch shaken up on the play. It's the defensive lineman, Jaquez Meadows, that we've talked about so much tonight, and I think he has a cramp. He's able to get up, and he's going to gingerly limp over to the sideline and get treated. So Meadows will have to come out at least for this play after the referees blew the whistle. He can play it anyway with the cramp, and it'll be 3rd down and 1 for Hermitage at their own 43, trying to take advantage of the interception. 6:15 to go, third quarter, and they're going to draw him offside. Robinson with nice cadence that time. And on the hard count there, Jesse Gilmer was about 3 yards on the other side of the football. 5-yard penalty and a first down. All right, going to look back at my notes from last night to make sure. 18, okay, it was 29 accepted penalties last night, and we had at least 3 or 4 that were not. So we had over 30 penalties called last night. On first down, Wilson gets the carry and gets stuffed by Bailey very nicely back at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 2nd and 10 at the 48. Second down, Wilson almost slips as he tries to get going, and then the Meadowbrook defense comes plowing in. And 44, Jeffrey Lee knocks him down for a loss of 3.5 back to the 45-yard line. And now a big 3rd and long coming up for the Panthers. Third down, rolling. Robinson, pass, overthrown. Intended here on the near side for Hodge. And there's a penalty marker on the field. Are you surprised? Holding against the defense. It's declined. Roughing the passer. There were 2 penalties against Meadowbrook. They'll accept that one. And it'll be a 15-yard personal foul penalty and a first down. First down at the Monarchs 40. And Hermitage trying to take advantage of the turnover. Handoff Wilson, dances up the middle, finds running room. 35, inside the 30, first down to the 29-yard line. And that time, that was great footwork by Wilson. Sometimes it's the blocks, sometimes it's being able to break a tackle, sometimes it's your footwork, and Wilson gained about 8 of those 11 all by himself with fancy footwork, and he's down to the Meadowbrook 29. First down to Wilson, right side, and this time nothing doing as the Meadowbrook defense was all over that one. 31, Kevin Williams, 1, Brian Young among about 4 Monarchs helping out on that stop. Loss of a yard. Second down and 11. Pitch to Wilson, left side. Gets away from one man, but only gets back to about the original line of scrimmage. And it's going to be another 3rd and long coming up for Hermitage in this part of the field where they stalled for a bit, and then they were able to advance it as far as the 15 in that opening 3rd quarter drive, and then that was it. 3rd down and about 11. Robinson trying to roll out. Now he's got to run. Penalty marker coming. It's going to be a hold. He gets to the 23, and then another penalty marker at the end of the play as 24, Jessen McCray, he used his shoulder to lean into Robinson on the hit, and they're going to call that now every time with the new emphasis on head injuries and concussions. 24 is going to get hit with that penalty, and it's going to be offsetting. And we should play 3rd down again, but we'll get the official word with 4:09 to go here in the 3rd. First, we have the hold against Hermitage. We knew that. But then at the end of the play, the penalties do offset. Again, the hit launching into Robinson. And so after the holding call and the launching reset, it's going to be an official's timeout for whatever reason. They've got to get a discrepancy fixed. And while that's happening, the Hermitage offense is trying to get over and get some water and talk a bit. Robinson's over with head coach Patrick Kane. The Meadowbrook coaches are like, what are they doing? We're ready to play, and it's just an official's timeout. It's not a real one called by a team, so let's go. And here come the Panthers. Hodge will come out of the game. Sneed will be here to the near side. Trips to the far, including Harden and Mayers. And Wilson in with Robinson. And again, for whatever reason, we have an official's timeout. So, we have two officials' timeouts. The ball's at the 30-yard line. It's 3rd down and 11 for Hermitage, who's trying to take advantage of the interception at midfield by Jaden Miller off of D'Angelo Amos, his second of the night. We finally got our first update of the night over from Caroline. Caroline just kicked a field goal just before the half. And the score is Caroline 10 and Glen Allen 7 with 47 seconds to go before halftime. So first game under new head coach Keelan Mayo. The Jaguars on the road to Caroline, Conference 20 game, although conferences really don't matter in football. Caroline with a 10-7 lead just before halftime. We finally play 3rd down. Robinson with plenty of time launches it downfield for Wilson. Complete. 1st and goal at the 10-yard line inside the 10 to the 9.5. Beautiful, beautiful play there by Robinson. Remember earlier in the quarter when he overthrew Wilson by 5 yards? That time he had the absolute perfect touch for a 21-yard reception. 1st and goal, Hermitage, 3:56 in the 3rd. Handoff Wilson, cuts up the middle, inside the 5 to near the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal coming up, 22 carries, 107 yards for Jonte Wilson tonight. He's the lone setback. They'll give it to him off left tackle, and he's going to go into the end zone. For a minute it looked like he was going to be down at the 2, but he bounces off a Monarch and walks in. Touchdown, Hermitage Panthers, and the Panthers retake the lead with 3:32 to go in the 3rd quarter. And Panthers are going to go for 2. After the blocked extra points and the blocked field goal attempt, they're going for 2 to try to make the lead 6 instead of 4. Robinson will call his own number. He'll dive toward the end zone. Did he get in? The answer from the near referee official says no. No good. No good. Wilson dove to try to break the plane of the end zone, but he did not, and the 2-point conversion is no good. But the Hermitage Panthers, off the Jaden Miller interception, retake the lead 18-14 with 3:32 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Hermitage 18, Meadowbrook 14. Rob with them along with you here live on HCS Media Network, and we had a great one in the 4th quarter last night. Last night's game was slow to develop, but then that last like 15, 18 minutes of the game were just phenomenal, and Cosby held on for that 16-15 win. And this game's has had its woes as well. 25 combined penalties. We've had 3 turnovers, 2 from Meadowbrook, 2 interceptions. We've had the interception from Hermitage on the big hit. That was a forced interception, a forced turnover by the Meadowbrook defense. 3 total turnovers as Meadowbrook also fumbled the football earlier in the game. Line drive kick's going to go past Khalil James and into the end zone, and that means an automatic touchback, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Meadowbrook. First and 10 for Amos and company. Meadowbrook now for the second time tonight working from behind. They scored on the opening possession of the night. Lost the lead, regained the lead. They've lost it again. 18-14 your score. Hand off to Miller, looking on the right side of the offensive line, and he'll fall forward to the 22.5-yard line. He'll get close to 3 yards, and it will be 2nd down. Smith there on the tackle, and Whitehead helping out as well. 3:10 to go, 3rd quarter. Officially, it's going to be a 2-yard gain. So Miller, after 143 yards in the first half, has been limited to 2 yards here in the second half. And that's one of the reasons why they've kept Meadowbrook off the scoreboard and have been able to take the lead. This is only Meadowbrook's 2nd possession of the quarter. Man in motion is Buns on 2nd down, 2:45 and clock running. Amos will hand it. No, he'll fake it and turn around and try to run left side. He'll get close to 1st down yardage and dive as he's tackled and get the 1st down. Amos with a nice fake to Miller. Kenny makes the tackle, but not before he gets to the 31-yard line. 9-yard run by D'Angelo Amos. And a 1st down for Meadowbrook with 2:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. So Highland Springs with a lead. Glen Allen down just before half. And here it's Hermitage 18, Meadowbrook 14. Handoff Justin Miller. Woodson missed him, and he was able to advance because of that to the 35. He had his jersey briefly behind the line of scrimmage, but couldn't grab hold of the body. And down to the 35 for about a 4-yard gain is Miller on his 24th carry of the night. We'll call it 3.5. Will be err on the side of giving the young man the yard to the 35. It'll be 2nd down. We'll call it 6. 1:45, 3rd quarter. Hermitage showing blitz. Quick pass by Amos, complete to Khalil James. Can he get away from his man? No. He'll be tackled in the open field. Nicely done by Dallas Carter-Taylor, who was the only one out there to stop him at the 38-yard line. Pass is complete, and it'll be 3rd down coming up, and that is Amos for him, his first completion of the night in 6 attempts. So it would be a 3-yard reception and 3rd down and 3 from the 38. They got to get to the 41-yard line. 2 receivers here to the near side. Handoff Miller. 1st down to the 43. 5 yards on the carry, and Miller will move the chain on his 25th carry of the night. 56.4 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, and the officials have asked for time as we have a Monarch down on the field. That is 79 Michael Crew, sophomore offensive lineman, who I think is having a cramping issue. And the officials will ask for time. The trainers will attend to Crew, and the teams will come over and have a word with their coaches under the officials' timeout. Well, so glad you have been with us this week here on HCS Media Network, Premier Week 2014. We had a great field hockey match, Midlothian Hanover to penalty strokes on Monday. We saw the defending state girls volleyball champions Tuesday night at Lee take care of Douglas Freeman. Last night we had the Cosby-Thomas Dale football game with Cosby holding on to win by 1, and here we've got Hermitage hanging on to a 4-point lead as we approach the final 56.4 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Happy to say Crew is up, and coming up under his own power, and that certainly looks like a cramp situation, which is something we see a lot early in the season, especially when it's 85. Humidity's down tonight, though, and that's why we've seen 2 players go out with cramps for Meadowbrook. Last night, close to 10 Thomasdale Knights alone went out with them. Last night, though, was a much more oppressive night. Got an update from Glen Allen. They've reached the half, and we'll tell you about it in a second. Big halftime turnaround for the Jaguars. Next play, Amos is trying the bootleg, nothing doing. He reverses field, and he's going to be knocked down all the way back at the 30-yard line. A loss of 13 yards on the play. Credit Nick Jones for Hermitage coming in there to finish that off. They went to that well one too many times, and the Panthers were there to stop it. They're going to mark the ball at the 31-yard line, so it's going to be coming up, let's see, to the 43 and the 47, the 31, that's 19. It's going to be 22 yards needed for a first down, but that will be coming up with the first play of the fourth quarter. End of 3 quarters tonight here live on HCS Media Network from Chester Fritz Stadium on the campus of Hermitage High School. And your score, Hermitage 18, Meadowbrook 14. 12 more minutes coming up live here on the RVA home for live high school sports, HCS Media Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Let's give you that really quick update. Glen Allen scores a touchdown pass as time expires in the half on the road to take a 13-10 lead over the Caroline Cavaliers. Extra point was blocked. Where have we heard that before today? And so Glen Allen scores in the final play of regulation to take a 13-10 lead into the half. And wow, would you know it, of all people, the pass was to Grayson Medulla. Grayson, of course, Grayson makes a great tight end or wide receiver. He broke wide open in basketball last year, helping Glen Allen go all the way to the 4A state semifinals. He has been looked at by several schools. Medulla coming back for his senior season. Expect big things from him and the Jaguars in basketball this winter. And Medulla helping out the football team there. Nice job there with the touchdown catch. And it's 13-10 at the half. So last check, Highland Springs with the lead. Glen Allen now with a halftime lead. And we start the fourth quarter at Hermitage High School. 2nd down and 22 from the 32-yard line. Amos, pass, underthrown. It's going to be intercepted. Second interception of the half for Miller. He's down the far sideline and goes out of bounds inside the 30. And a late penalty flag may add yards to that. Second interception of the half by Jaden Miller on the first play of the fourth quarter. So we'll see what the flag is and whether it's going to No, they're going to say it is a chop block against Hermitage, so it will not be yards added on. It will be Hermitage losing yards back to the 42-yard line on their 13th penalty of the night. Each team has committed 13 penalties. And the first down, fake to Wilson. Robinson wants to throw it, gets away from Munman. Throws it. Incomplete. Holy cow. He was right there with Bates. They were literally 3 yards away from each other, and Bates dropped it at the 40, and we have a flag. So the clock will stop at 11:40 to go. How do you miss that one? Holding Hermitage. Penalty 14 for the Panthers for 141 yards. So they're back to their own 49-yard line now, and we'll replay first down. First down and 19. Robinson looking for Mayers, and incomplete. He threw it behind him on the slant. Mayers was open, but Robinson misfires. Incomplete. Second down and 19 from their own 49. Trips here to the near side. One man, Sneed, out to the far. Blitz coming. Robinson flushed out of the pocket. Flag down. Man in the middle is complete to Mayers, and he'll get down to the Meadowbrook 39-yard line, but that may be coming back. And the clock stops with 11:27 to go. Block in the back. Hermitage. And certainly Meadowbrook will take that one and make it second and longer. Official who's got the football picks up the flag as he makes the walk, and the ball is going to go all the way back to the 32-yard line. They've got to get to the Meadowbrook 32. Second down and 36 yards to go. Mayers in motion. The pass to him is dropped. Trying to develop a flanker screen on the near side, and Mayers couldn't hang on to it. Incomplete. All right, well, so what do you have in the playbook for 3rd and 36? I guess we're about to find out. As Hermitage is not, at least unless a miracle comes up in the next play or two, not going to be able to take advantage of this second Jaden Miller interception. 11:22 to go in regulation. 3rd down and 36 yards to go. They'll hand it off to Wilson smartly and wisely. Just get the yards that they can and ask Rodriguez to pin them deep. He gets to the 43-yard line, so 11 yards for Wilson, and it'll be a 4th down and 25 coming up. So Rodriguez back to kick it away. 2 men back deep for Meadowbrook, and here we go. It's a low line drive kick directly to James. He'll take it on a dead run at the 30 and get across the 40 to the 41-yard line, and that is where Meadowbrook will take over first down and 10 with 10:39 to go in regulation, and the lead for Hermitage just 4. Again, a week from tonight, we begin our 13th season of live football coverage on WHAN, 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. All of our games on WHAN, simulcast live right here on HCS Media Network. The debut of Brian Davis, the new head coach at Patrick Henry, as he travels to Hanover to take on Clayton Cheatham and the Hawks. Got a chance to see Clayton in the quarterback position at Hanover's green-white scrimmage 2 weeks ago, and I'm very impressed with that young man. Of course, cut from a pretty good cloth. His older brother, Dean, a long-time Hanover star. And, of course, he ended up and still is with James Madison as the Dukes get ready to open their season. Well, forget the return from James. We had a penalty against Meadowbrook. It was a hold against the Monarchs, and if you can believe it, even with a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 4th and 25, it's now 4th and 15. So they got to do it again, and maybe Jesus, if you're a Hermitage fan, can get a better kick away. That was a line drive to James with hardly any hang time. High snap, gets it away. That one a much better kick. Goes over James's head and will go into the end zone for the touchback. So touchback on the play, and we have an injured Panther holding on to his leg. That's Thornton, I believe, on special teams, who, of course, is also an important part of their defense. And they're going to work on him as the ball goes to Meadowbrook now, 1st and 10 at the 20 with 10:32 to go in the 4th quarter. 10:32 left, 18-14 Panthers. And Thornton will gingerly limp off the field and get some hydration as well as being worked on. So here we go, 20-yard line. They take over at their own 20, down 18-14, 10:32 left in regulation. First down. Miller dances off right tackle, gets to the 23, the 23 and a half. Maybe close to 4 yards. I think they're going to call it 3 for Miller on 26 carries, 157 yards tonight. Yeah, great job by Miller in the first half. He's only had 14 here in the second. Meadowbrook has not scored in the second half, but Meadowbrook has got to find another offensive weapon, because if all you've got's Miller, teams are going to look at game film, they're going to hone in on him, and then it's going to force Amos to move much better than he's done tonight, even though he did have that big touchdown run on the 4th down and goal. Next one to Miller. Will get caught at the line of scrimmage. Kenny there. Woodson there. No gain. 3rd down and long. In fact, he lost a yard. So Amos is going to have to do something for Meadowbrook if they're going to have this. They're going to have a comeback and win this game. 44 Jeffrey Lee is now down, and I think we have another cramping situation. And now with the guys are getting tired. It's the 4th quarter. Of course, so many of them play both ways, and with the heat that is down there and what humidity there is, not nearly as much as last night, but still, it's August the 29th, so there is some humidity in the air, but it could be a lot worse, and we'll know that for sure here over the weekend when that nice high pressure that's north of us, giving us this beautiful breeze off the ocean, says goodbye. That front that went past us yesterday that allowed this cooler air to come in today is coming right back at us overnight and going to go north of us, and the heat and humidity is going to build back in, and we're all going to be sweating going back to school on Tuesday. Other games going on should be going into the 3rd quarter about now, and so we'll keep you posted on anything that we get. And again, Lee coming up under his own power, cramp situation, and he'll be okay, and that's good to see. Like to see teams, nobody came out that we know of the Cosby-Dale game last night with any significant injuries, and that's always good to see, especially for Thomas Dale. Good Lord, they were so snake-bit with injuries last year. One of the reasons why they finished 6-4. They got to the playoffs. They lost in the first round to the Colonial Forge team that's currently losing to Highland Springs on opening night. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 at the 22. And we have 2 players on the move early. Kamara on the right side for Hermitage. 55 the tackle, Adante Braxton for Meadowbrook. And the question is, who moved first? The answer is illegal procedure against Meadowbrook. 15 penalties for them, 15 for Hermitage, so we have surpassed the 29 accepted penalties from last night's Cosby-Thomas Dale game. We've seen 59 penalties between last night's game and tonight's game. And our game is now approaching the 2.5-hour mark with 9:20 to go here in regulation. They've opened the door here at the end of this side of the press box, and it's actually created a nice breeze coming through. 3rd down, 13. Amos looking to throw and overthrows his intended receiver, Keontae Smith, who did a nice job right down the middle of the field separating from his defender. That was 24, Whitehead, that couldn't keep up with Smith. And if Amos had been accurate, that would have been a first down and more. But Amos off the mark. He is 1 of 7 tonight with 3 yards and 2 interceptions. So he's actually completed 3 of his passes, but 2 to the other team. Check that, 3. 3. Because 2 here in the second half. He had 1 in the first as well when they traded those interceptions. And a punt. Hermitage getting good field position. Snead's going to let it go. It's going to take a nice Meadowbrook bounce. It's not going to be as good a field position as they thought. It'll be down at the 35-yard line. So a beautiful punt. 47-yard kick and no return.
On the 35-yard line, 1st and 10, Panthers.
Panthers 18, Monarchs 14, 8:58 left in regulation. And here comes Robinson and company, trying somehow, some way to get a 2-possession lead for the first time tonight. First down, fake it, throw out on the flat, complete for minimal yardage. And that is to number 10, Christian Harden. Harden's first catch of the night will be just for a couple of yards, and it'll be second down for the Panthers. Handoff, Wilson cuts back up the middle and is hit nicely there at the 33-yard line. Troy Ross with a beautiful play there, getting down low and wrapping him up. Gain of just 1, and it's third down. Third down and 7 for Hermitage. Robinson looking for a slant, nothing there. Going to go long here to the near sideline and overthrown and out of bounds, intended for Ty Bates. So his 25th pass of the night goes by the boards. Long, incomplete, and out of bounds. 13 to 25 for 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick tonight for Rashad Robinson. And here's the thing you don't like about the hurry-up offense. 3 plays and out, and the Hermitage defense barely had time to grab water, and they got to go back out on the field as Rodriguez is in to kick, and the 2 men deep, Smith and James, for Meadowbrook. Line drive kick goes between the 2. Will take somewhat of a Hermitage bounce at about the 20, and then Smith decides to pick it up and go for it, and he'll get about 3 yards, and that was a dangerous decision. But they will take over 1st and 10 at their own 23. Meadowbrook with 7:55 to go and all 3 of their timeouts. So what can Amos and company do at this point? Miller has been shut down in the second half. 143 yards first half, 14 yards second half. Can they finally win the war on the line of scrimmage and get him going this drive to retake the lead? Power I formation, first down. One of the better runs for him. He gets up toward the 29-yard line, so about 5 yards on first down, as they took over at the 24 rather than the 23, saying that Smith fell forward an extra yard on that dangerous punt return. He let it bounce a couple of 3 times behind him, and then at the last second decided to pick him up. But 4 Panthers were right there. What if you bobble it just a hair? As soon as you touch it, it's live. You can get hit. Second down, we'll call it 6 at the 29-yard line. 7:20 to go. Meadowbrook down 4. Power I again. Miller again across the 30, falls forward near the 34-yard line, very close to a first down, and they may have to take a look at this one. But Miller's doing something here that he hasn't been able to do in this half, and that is fall forward and get some extra yards. He's been stood up most of this half. And it'll be first down at the 34-yard line. Monarchs down 4, 7 minutes left in the game. Amos under center. Handoff. Miller got running room. First down, approaching midfield. He'll get to the 47-yard line before Jaden Miller stopped it from becoming a huge run. And now maybe Justin Miller can get things cranked up. 30 carries for him, 181 yards, and the Monarchs approach midfield. First down, 46-yard line, 6:35 to go. Handoff Miller, left side, across midfield, and another great run. And Meadowbrook's winning the war on this one. They get close to 9 yards that time, and Miller's starting to crank it up again. 2nd and 1 coming up. They're in Hermitage territory. And we have a Monarch down. So an official's timeout. So they're at the Hermitage 45-yard line. And it looks like another cramping situation. At least that's what we hope for the Monarch down at about the 46-yard line. It'll be 6:24 left. But Meadowbrook driving. It is Shamir Diggs who is the player down, and he's kind of turned over on his stomach. And the Hermitage training staff is going to go out and join the Meadowbrook training staff, so this one may take a moment. Well, in field hockey tonight, VCU has fallen. Final score, 3-1 to Drexel. Just got that report in from @VCU Scores on Twitter. They've gone to halftime, and Highland Springs is on a roll. 28 unanswered points, and the Springers lead at 28-7. At the intermission at Highland Springs. And we mentioned during our halftime show, we've got 3 Highland Springs games coming up on our game of the week this fall. Week 4 against Hanover, Week 7 against Lee Davis, October 17th, and then the one we're really looking forward to, Halloween night. It'll be at Lee at Highland Springs in Week 9, as they're going to have to help, unfortunately, Diggs off of the field. But he seems to have a little bit of under his own power, and I think this was hopefully the most serious of the cramps that we've seen here tonight, and won't be anything else, such as an ankle or a knee. But that one did take a little time to take care of, and of course the longer it takes, the more worried we get up here in the press box. So we get back to action. It'll be 2nd and 1 for Meadowbrook at the Hermitage 45-yard line. Miller has all 31 yards in this drive on the ground. They'll give it to him again. He'll get the first down and more inside the 40, down to the 36-yard line, and they can't stop Justin Miller. They had him contained all second half long until this possession, and Miller is running all over Hermitage, but you got to credit more than Miller. You got to talk about the beef up front as well. 71 Bowling, 55 Braxton, 62 Christopher Artis. They're winning the war up there. 6:01 to go. Handoff Miller up the middle. Couldn't break the first tackle, but falls forward for more positive yardage inside the 35-yard line. Justin Miller tonight has now broken the 200-yard mark, 33 carries, 202 yards. And I'm sure they'll go to him again. Second down. That time Amos just had to fall on the football. There was a problem with the quarterback snap exchange. And he's looking down at the center on that play, Easter, and saying, we got to fix that. It'll be third down and about 8.5 after a loss of about 1.5 yards on that play. The ball's just inside the 35, and they got to get to the 26.5. So third down, 8.5 yards to go for Meadowbrook, trying to drive and retake the lead. Clock becoming a factor, 4:50 to go here in the game. Power formation. Handoff Miller. He gets tripped at the line of scrimmage, falls forward, but can't get much more. 53, Tavian Anderson helping out on the stop, and it's going to be fourth down for the Monarchs. And down 4. You're not going to punt it away at 4:25 to go. You got to go for it. Two yards on the carry.
Let's go Panthers.
4th and 7. They got to get to the 26.5-yard line, and referees ask for time. Meadowbrook's going to talk about it. Timeout, Meadowbrook. Timeout, Monarchs, with 4:01 to go. They're facing fourth down. About 7.5 yards. They got to get to about the 26.5-yard line to move that chain and keep this drive alive. And with 4 minutes to play, you can't say this is their last chance. They're not able to convert this fourth down. There's still plenty of time, especially the way Hermitage runs its offense. Another quick 3 and out will give the Monarchs the ball right back. This Hermitage defense, they've got to dig really deep right now. They've got to be gassed at this particular point. Woodson is not in the game for this play. Thornton is back in after cramping up earlier. Kamara, of course, in there. We see Tavian Anderson, who I believe is the man. Yeah, he's the one who has spelled Woodson. Here we go out of the timeout. 4th and 7 for Meadowbrook at the Hermitage 34. 4 minutes to go, down 4 points. Amos fakes the handoff, runs around left side, trying to get to the first down marker, reaches, and he should have it unless the referee, he comes in and is putting his foot down a little bit short of the yard marker, unless the gentleman with the yard marker got a little skittish and moved. No, they're going to say his knee was down at the 27-yard line, and Hermitage holds. Panthers will take over. Carter Taylor on the stop. 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. 3:53 left in the game. A pitch back to Wilson, and that went nowhere. That was an ill-designed play, and Meadowbrook was all over it. Back to the 20-yard line, but we've got a penalty marker, and that's going to stop the clock, and that's actually a friend of the Monarchs, frankly. It's going to be a penalty, I believe, against Hermitage. It's going to back them up to the 20-yard line, and it's an illegal shift for their 16th penalty of the night. And they're going to decline it. Yeah, because I was thinking the yard mark off was like no. But yeah, they got the 8-yard loss on the play there, and it's like, why would you accept the penalty and give them first down again? Take the loss. 7-yard loss officially. So it's going to be 2nd down and 17 at the 20-yard line. They got to get to the 37.5. Right now, Hermitage is in a situation to where, if they can get a few first downs, make Meadowbrook burn the rest of their timeouts, and then maybe they can hold on. They are resetting the clock. Athletic Director Chris Rollinson giving them the message here from the walkie-talkie down on the field near the official. And they've put 20 seconds back on the clock to make it 3:46 to go. So game reset. Hermitage leads 18-14. They stop Meadowbrook's drive a yard short of the first down, take over, but they lose 7.5 on first down. 2nd down, 17.5 at the 20-yard line. Clock now restarts. 3:30 to go. And Robinson with Wilson, and now Mayers coming in motion. They'll give it to Wilson, trying to find room left side, and he'll get back to the 20-yard line, and that's it. Half a yard at the most. And Wilson's had 26 carries of his own tonight, and he's over 100 yards, but no gain there. 3rd down, 17.5 at the 20-yard line. And this has been a struggling performance tonight from the Hermitage offense, and frankly, I'm surprised. Under 3 minutes to go. Robinson goes back to Wilson, has a word with him, trying to take some time off the clock. Better not have that delay a game penalty. Rodriguez will get pinned enough. Trying to run right side, and he's going to be caught. He misses 2 tackles and then falls forward to the 21-yard line. A hard yard for Robinson, but frankly, 80, Jaquez Meadows should have had him back behind the line of scrimmage. Robinson was able to not only gain a yard, but take off another 4 or 5 seconds off the clock. And Meadowbrook's going to call timeout with 2:39 to go. $2:39 to go. And Rodriguez is going to be called upon here to get some good field position. Meadowbrook with a player coming off late. I don't think the referees saw it. Rodriguez, line drive, going to be taken by James at the 45. He's at midfield. 45, 44-yard line. And so Meadowbrook will have fantastic field position inside Hermitage territory. Update, late 3rd quarter, and we hadn't had an update in a while. Monacan had been holding on to a 5-0 lead. Dinwiddie finally scores their first touchdown of the night, late 3rd quarter. 2-point try failed, and in a score that sounds more like a baseball score, it is Dinwiddie 6, Monacan 5, late 3rd quarter. 1st and 10, Meadowbrook at the Hermitage 44, and before they can get the playoff, we have a penalty marker. And it's going to be a legal procedure against the Monarchs. So 1st and 15 now for Meadowbrook. They have 16 penalties tonight. Hermitage has 15. 1st and 15 from the Hermitage 49. 2:28 to go, and this may be their last chance. Fake the handoff. Amos wants to throw. Got a man open. Doesn't do it. Decides to run. Gets to the 40. Falls forward to the 38-yard line. And he'll get back the 5 yards on the penalty and about 6 more. So the keeper by Amos for 11 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 5 with 2:05 to go. And I believe Meadowbrook they're not showing the timeouts on the stadium clock here, but I believe they're down to 1 timeout if memory serves me correctly. 2nd down, 5.5. Hermitage 39. Meadowbrook down 4. Rolling to his left. Amos gets it out to Smith. Complete, falls down at the 25. First down, Monarchs. 15 yards on the second completion of the night for Amos, and Kame had an excellent time. So Keontae Smith all alone, 15 yards and a first down for Meadowbrook. Handoff up the middle, going and into the end zone. Touchdown, Meadowbrook. Who else? Justin Miller. And they take the lead with 1:30 left in regulation. Now the question is, do you go for 2 to make it a 3-point game, or do you kick the extra point? They're going to kick the extra point, which I think is a very smart idea. Miller's second touchdown of the night. Will they be bookends is the question. Meadowbrook player late coming on the field. He had the 13-yard touchdown run. Just 1:02 into the game. And now with 1:30 to go, he scores the go-ahead touchdown from 25 yards out. Referees ask for time. Delay of game against Meadowbrook. And now suddenly the extra point attempt is a little more difficult. And they'll tee it up from the 15. Here it comes. Point after attempt is up, and it is good. Meadowbrook 21. Hermitage 18. 1:30 to play. Can the Panthers find a way now? Or will the Monarchs head back to Chesterfield with a huge win on opening night? So Miller runs for 13 yards and pay dirt on the first drive of the night, scores 62 seconds into the game. And then his 35th and possibly final carry of the night to end up with 229 yards as his second touchdown run from 25 yards out with 90 seconds left. And the Hermitage Panthers are in danger of going to 0-1. Argueta is going to tee it up at the 40-yard line. Hermitage has their timeouts, so that's one advantage. And here comes the kick. It's high, it's short, it's toward the sideline. It's taken at the 36-yard line, and that's where Hermitage will fall on it and take over first down. Doing some quick work here. To try to come up with a statistic for you. As Robinson and company get set to get going here. 1st and 10 at their own 36 and time running out. Looking on the slant, dropped. Incomplete, intended for Bates. Bates should have had it. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 36. Clock stops on the incompletion. The last time the Hermitage Panthers lost their opener was August 31st, 2000. against Lee Davis. This time down the field, looking for his man, and stride for stride on great coverage. Incomplete, baits the intended receiver. And number 9, Bethay Toxie, doing a great job defensively down the near sideline. 3rd down and 10, a minute 21 to go. Robinson thinks pass, now he's going to run. Flag on the field. He's going to fall forward to the 1st down marker. But we're going to have a hold, I bet. Yep. Holding. Hermitage. And their 16th penalty of the night arguably could be their biggest. And the ball's going to go back all the way to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 26 with a minute 10 to go, and the clock is running. Robinson looking, got protection, got his man, and through the hands of Ty Bates. How many times have I said that tonight? It has not been a good night for the 5'6", 145 junior, and they're down to their last play. This is it. 4th down, 25 and a half at the 20. Robinson going long, looking for Sneed, double coverage, intercepted. Intercepted back at the 35-yard line, and who is it? It's Amos, the quarterback. Meadowbrook will take over. Upset alert from Chester Fritz Stadium. .54 seconds to go. Amos with the interception, and he'll jog back onto the field. And Hermitage can call some timeouts, but I don't think there's much else that they can do. And MBK is going to roll into the victory formation, and Miller is 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Timeout, Patrick Kane. Amos will finish with negative yards rushing tonight, and he could care less. It was double coverage on that long pass to Sneed. Just had a quick question on Twitter at Henrico Sports from Flowers 5 over there from Tucker, asking, how many yards does Miller have tonight? Your answer, 229. And the bookend touchdowns. One on the opening drive and one with 90 seconds to go. And your score is 21-18. Hermitage calls the timeout. I believe they had all 3 of their timeouts. So there is a possibility that the Panthers could get the ball back. And I'm not 100% sure on that. Trying to get somebody's attention. How many timeouts are left for Hermitage? Timeouts left for Hermitage. Looking to see if anybody knows. Nobody knows here in the press box, and it's not on the stadium clock. I would believe it would be less than the 2, simply because Meadowbrook wouldn't be in a victory formation unless they're just going to burn timeouts, and then now they're trying to burn some clock, and Amos is going back, and he's going to be down back at the 16-yard line, and Hermitage will call another timeout. And that'll bring up a 3rd down after a loss of yards. So Amos loses 12. Hermitage calls timeout. Now, off the top of my head, folks, I'm trying to go back through this second half, and I don't remember a Hermitage timeout, which means they should have one more timeout left. And if that's the case, then Meadowbrook will have to kick it away, and Hermitage will have a sling and a prayer. But I have to admit, I'm a little confused by the fact that Meadowbrook went into victory formation if Hermitage had all 3 timeouts, unless they feel at this particular point that their defense can stop Hermitage from whatever last-second prayer they may have. Well, we'll find out in a second if Patrick Kane can run on the field one more time. But if memory serves me correctly, they may have one more. Let's see. 3rd down, 18-yard line. And this time Amos will run, and he will be stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but then fall his way forward for about a yard. And, yeah, Coach Kane did have 3. I thought there were 3 as he calls his last one very quickly, but Amos on that bootleg, very smart idea. He gains a yard, but he takes 7 seconds off the clock, and there are 38 seconds left, and it'll be 4th down and long.
Take 7 seconds off the clock. That'll bring up a punt team for the Meadowbrook Monarchs.
38 seconds left. It's 4th down. And 21 at their own 19. So the Panthers will have a prayer. And I don't see if there were 10 seconds left in the game or 20 seconds left in the game, then maybe I see Meadowbrook running a long play with their punter and then running out the back of the end zone for the safety to make it a 1-point game and then the free kick, but I just don't see that here. They are lining up in a victory formation. No, they can't be. I don't see the punter. Amos is going to run into the end zone for a safety. And, of course, the clock stops automatically when he reaches the end zone. He doesn't even have to go, and my mistake there, he doesn't even have to go through the end zone. That's a safety. So it's 21-20 now with 33.6 to go. So hold everything. It's not over yet. And I got to tell you that with the way Justin Miller ran in that last touchdown drive, why don't you just hand the ball off to him, make them burn a timeout, get a 1st down, and get out of here? Why do you do victory formation? Why do you run the shenanigans? Why do you give up the 2 points? I don't get that. Get the 1st down and get on the bus. Instead, it's a 1-point game, and let me explain why I'm emphatic about that. What if Hermitage hits on a big play, gets about to the 15 or 20 of Meadowbrook? Rodriguez is in field goal range. And now a field goal wins the game. A field goal does not tie it and send it into overtime. Now the referees are asking for the clock to be adjusted. One of the officials down here at the Hermitage, and they've put time back on the clock to 38 seconds. Now, I can't quite explain why they did that. Okay, now I see what has happened, and this is why Patrick Kane and company are so upset. The referees, that play, Amos's play didn't count. The referee, apparently, one of them out there blew a whistle before the play because Meadowbrook is out there in punt formation. Hermitage is set to return it, and those 2 points need to be off the board. It should be back to 21-18. So it's going to be a punt. and we're going to have fourth down all over again. But Hermitage still gets a chance. So fourth down all over again after all of that. And we will have a 3-hour game here tonight. We kicked off at 6, and we are now a minute and a half shy of 9 p.m. Remember when high school football games were in and out in 2 hours? Those days are gone. All right, so the only possible explanation here is that there was a referee who blew a whistle for whatever reason prior to that Amos play to go in for a safety. That is the only possible explanation. Whatever the explanation was, Patrick Kane wasn't buying it. Neither were his assistants. Now Rashad Robinson is standing beside Kane with his helmet on. And right now they just got to figure out, okay, where are we going to get the ball and how much time are we going to have? And then they'll figure out what to do. And now we're back to the situation to where if Rodriguez gets in field goal range, he ties it with a field goal if he can make it. Kane is still questioning something, got his arms wide open down there on the field, talking to one of the side officials. And there's a ton of fans below me that are pretty like, what in the world's going on, too? All right, now for whatever reason, they're taking 4 seconds off the clock. And I don't know why they're doing that, because it was 38 seconds to go on fourth down. So 4 seconds have disappeared. Oh, boy. Now, if I'm Patrick Kane, yeah, I am asking why. There should be 38 seconds left. Here comes the punt. It's a wobbly kick. It is returnable at the 47, fumbled, falling on it at the 41-yard line. Ho-ho is Jaden Miller. 27.5 seconds to go. First down, Hermitage at the Meadowbrook 41, 27 seconds, 0.5 seconds left. And this is it. I promise. Robinson looking for the slant pass. Has time. It's behind his intended receiver, Harden. Incomplete. Robinson is hanging near 50% completion mark until here this fourth quarter. He's now 13 of 30. Quick score update. Glen Allen 21, Caroline 10 after 3. Snap to Robinson. He's got plenty of time. Safety valve there. Complete. Out of bounds. 25-yard line. That's Wilson out of the backfield. Jonte Wilson with the completion of 16 yards and a first down. And Wilson's had 2 nice receptions tonight in that safety valve situation. One of 21. This one's 17. And penalty markers on the field. $17.6 to go. Encroachment, Meadowbrook. Give them 5 more yards. It'll be first down and 5 at the 20-yard line after the penalty. 17 seconds left. And I would say they're probably in Rodriguez's field goal range right now. We're waiting for the referees to restart game action. They are going to reset the clock again. They're asking for a half a second to get on the board and make it 18.1 seconds left in the game. 18.1 to go. Hermitage at the Meadowbrook 20, down 3, out of timeouts. Robinson, quick pass, complete, and out of bounds is Wilson with a 2-yard gain. So it gets you a little bit closer into field goal range, only 2 yards on the reception. Boy, in that situation, you've got to get out of bounds or the game is over. 14 seconds left. Robinson looking. He's going to run at the 15. He's going to the 10. He's at the 5. He's near the end zone. They say he's down at the 1. No! They say it's a touchdown! They say it's a touchdown! Oh, my gosh! He broke the plane! Rashad Robinson broke the plane! Touchdown, Hermitage! They got to get the fans off the field. They got to get the team off the field. Touchdown, Panthers. 4 seconds left in the game. Wow. Penalty marker's going to come down. Sideline and warning against Hermitage. There'll be no yards. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Extra point attempt coming, but the refs blow a whistle first. And Rodriguez is in for the point after attempt. Robinson tonight, 9 carries, 99 yards, the last 20, with already a play of the year candidate. Point after attempt is good. Unreal. I've been watching football for over 40 years, and I've been broadcasting it on the radio for 13. And that is one of the most improbable endings to a football game I have ever seen, and I'm not going to call it over yet, simply because we got to have a kickoff. And Meadowbrook's going to get their hands on the football now. It looks like they're going to have to return it for a touchdown to win the game. And after all of that, how do you explain it? And again, I go back to when Meadowbrook got the football. Miller had such a great run in that last drive to get the touchdown. They were winning the war again on the line of scrimmage. You give it to Miller, you push, you get a first down, you go home. You win 21-18. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Rodriguez tees it up at the 40. The kick is high, short. Smith has it at the 25. Last chance for Meadowbrook. Looking for a wall, far side. 45, down at the 47-yard line, and the game is over. Well, a minute ago, we said upset alert on Twitter, and now we just sent out a tweet that said no upset. In the most improbable way, the Hermitage Panthers have survived, score a touchdown with 4 seconds left in regulation, and win 25-21 over Meadowbrook. Absolutely incredible. I just, again, am absolutely beside myself. First of all, the ending takes your breath away. A gut-wrenching ending for the Monarchs, and a most improbable, electrifying ending for the Panthers. And it was on the far side of the field where Robinson dove for the end zone, and it really looked from this angle like he was about a yard short. And had he been a yard short, clock would have run out. Game would have been over. The ball came out of his hands when he fell on the ground. So he hit the ground, ball came out, no fumble. That wasn't the issue. The question was, where was his knee? Where did he land? And I don't know. I'm going to be very interested to turn on the sidelines tonight at 11:15 on NBC 12 to take a look at that final play, because I am 100% sure I just saw Matt Estridge here. I want to see if he landed on a monarch and that gave him the chance to stretch that ball over the plane. It's a possibility that was the case. But in the end, Robinson scrambles for his life and breathes new life into a season that's not even at Labor Day yet. Think about that. It's not even Labor Day yet, and this could be a loss that Meadowbrook just absolutely can't believe, and a win that propels Hermitage into a season of strangely epic proportions. So if we're in late November and Hermitage is fighting for the state quarterfinals or the state semifinals, turn your clock back in your mind to August 29th, 2014, when Rashad Robinson found a way to get through traffic and scramble 20 yards with 14 seconds left. It took him 10 seconds. And he stretches the ball, and it crosses the plane, and they win the game. Unbelievable. Wow. What else can I say, friends? We couldn't have asked for a better premiere week here on HCS Media Network. Field hockey match that went overtime and then to penalty strokes Monday. Defending state champions in volleyball Tuesday. A one-point game last night. And now tonight, in one of the most stunning finishes in all of my years of high school football, Meadowbrook gets the ball back with under a minute to go. After stopping the Panthers, they lead by 3. They have a chance to get a first down, make Hermitage call their timeouts, and get out with the win. They elect to go to the victory formation instead. Hermitage burns all 3 timeouts, giving them a chance to get the ball back on a punt by Meadowbrook. After it looked like Meadowbrook had done a safety and it was going to be a one-point game. And then the referees had inadvertently blew a whistle prior to the play, so the play didn't count, so it gave Meadowbrook new life and a chance to smartly punt the football. But they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. They should have had Miller run the football, get a first down, and go home. Why they decided to do what they did, I don't know. I'll never know, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of second-guessing at Meadowbrook this weekend, especially tomorrow when they look at this game film. There has to be, because Hermitage had no right to win this game tonight. But they did. They will take it, and they will celebrate as they leave the field. Wow. What a night. 25-21 is your final score. Don't forget to join Mark and Matt at 11:15 tonight for the premiere of NBC 12 on the sidelines, Central Virginia's most comprehensive look at Friday night football coverage. They'll have tonight's highlights, they'll review last night's games, and they'll have the best coverage for you every Friday night at 11:15 all season long on your number one choice for news, NBC 12 on your side. Join Mark and Matt at 11:15. That's exactly what I'll be doing 2 hours and 4 minutes from now. My thanks to Chris Rollison, Athletic Director here at Hermitage High School, to Head Coach Patrick Kane for their help and their hospitality in getting our broadcast set and ready. Next time we talk to you here live will be next Friday night for the season premiere of the Game of the Week on WHAN 102.9 FM and 1430 AM. And outside RVA, you can listen live online right here on HCS Media Network. It'll be the Patrick Henry Patriots taking on the Hanover Hawks, 6:30 airtime, 7 o'clock kickoff. 229 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns tonight for Justin Miller, but the most important 20 yards of the night on the wheels of Rashad Robinson, who scores with 4 seconds to go, and Hermitage stuns Meadowbrook at the end. Final score, 25-21. For all of us here at HCS Media Network, thanks so much for joining us. Rob Witham saying happy Labor Day weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you next Friday night.